Chapter 2185 Want Ye Mo's Stall? Chapter 2185 Want Ye Mo's Stall? He killed Mo Fu? The young castle master asked in surprise. And then he said, no wonder Sichu Hong wants to stir up trouble. Young castle master, I feel that Sichu Hong probably doesn't know that he killed Mo Fu. If Sichu Hong knew that, then even if the stall owner knew Tian Rui Divine Emperor, Sichu Hong wouldn't be letting him sit there. The Tao Actualization Divine Emperor called Shulwan said. The young castle master nodded. Since we know he is, we can let him have his way. Give him a small space and pay him some god crystals compensation. A human race Tao Essence Divine Emperor is not much to me. The Shi Tao Essence Divine Emperor and Shulan Tao Actualization Divine Emperor didn't say anything hearing this, but the female Tao Essence Divine Emperor said, young castle master, I think it's best that we don't start trouble. If the human race Divine Emperor only had that much power, Sichu Hong wouldn't be using your hands to kill him. The reason she said this was because she had this deep concern with Yi Mo. She hadn't seen the exact fight between Yi Mo and Mo Fu, but she saw the void formation flags Yi Mo left behind. This meant that Yi Mo used formations to kill Mo Fu. The reason Yi Mo had to use formations was because he was weaker than Mo Fu. Someone who was weaker than Mo Fu used all sorts of means to kill him. How could he not know the danger of taking such a stall on the Dao Fruit Tower Square? However, she had tried persuading the young castle master. She wasn't a part of the Shadow Void Castle. She already said what needed to be said. What the young castle master did was his choice. Lu Tai smiled. Elder Pu, don't worry. This thing definitely won't get Kang Shu Dao Exchange Social involved. Plus, with such a huge shop, we'll definitely earn big this time. Sichu Hong isn't necessarily starting trouble between us. He doesn't dare not to take into account my father. Plus, how much benefits has Sichu Hong taken from Xing Hong? It's normal that he's embarrassed to offend Xing Hong. Just watch me. Pu Hoshi could only follow over. The reason Yi Mo was here alone was because he asked the rest of the people to buy all sorts of sect building materials in the Void Marketplace. In order for them to not get abused, Yi Mo let Xiao He follow them. Although Xing Hong helped him a lot, there were many things he needed to go buy himself. When Yi Mo came out of the shop, he saw Pu Hoshi. Even though the young castle master walked at the front, Yi Mo only knew her. Immortal friends, you're a human race pill divine, right? How may I refer to you? I'm from the Shadow Void Castle, Lu Tai. I'm the young castle master. Lu Tai saluted with his fists. Yi Mo immediately thought that Lu Tai came to ask him for pill concoction and saluted with his fists. I'm Yi Mo. Is the young castle master here to ask me for pill concoction? Lu Tai pointed at Yi Mo's sign and laughed. Pill divine, Yi is really bold. Not everyone dares to set up such plate. Although Elder Xing Hong is a powerful figure of the Void Marketplace, not everyone cares about him. Yi Mo frowned. He didn't really understand what Lu Tai meant. What's his signs got to do with Xing Hong? Lu Tai said again, immortal friends, I wasted some time on the way here, so I came late. Can you do this? How about you give part of your stall to me and I'll pay you some god crystals or something else? Of course, if anyone else looks for your trouble, I can help you. You came to take my stall? Yi Mo immediately realized what this young castle master meant. Lu Tai smiled and nodded. Yes, don't worry. I will compensate you god crystals. Just divide out 10%. Hearing this, Yi Mo wasn't too annoyed. His stall was huge. Giving him 10% for some god crystals was okay. Plus, when he was hunted by Mo Fu, it was Shadow Void Castle's Immortal Rest Tower that helped him. The Shadow Void Castle needs to buy a lot of things, so I might need some larger area. 10% of the area should be enough for you. Immortal friends, what do you think? Lu Tai looked at Yi Mo confidently. He didn't believe that Yi Mo could really concoct those god pill he proclaimed. Yi Mo's stall was purely to cheat people's Dao fruits. Since it was cheating, there will be conflicts. Now that he was going to back Yi Mo up, Yi Mo would definitely want this. Yi Mo looked at Lu Tai like he was an idiot. He thought the 10% was for the young castle master, but this idiot meant it was for him. Why did this idiot feel so good about himself? If it wasn't that he spoke nicely, Yi Mo would have kicked him away already. I don't think so. Yimo didn't want to offend Shadow Void Castle, but he wasn't going to give him 10% anymore. Hearing this, Lu Tai's face went cold. He thought he was polite enough to this human divine emperor, and yet he dares to be so cocky. Elder Shi, Lu Tai called. He knew he was no match for Yimo. Elder Shi went up immediately as his powerful realm domain instantly bound Yimo while he grabbed at Yimo. In front of outsiders, the face of the young castle master need to be preserved. The same time Yimo was bound, he felt the nearby space pause. He immediately knew this was time law. Time law was thought to be the most terrifying law. It was the hardest to learn, but once you learned it, it was extremely powerful. Yimo learned time law due to a lightning sound ages fruit. He studied time law by himself. Now that he saw someone else's time law, he didn't want to break free. He closed his eyes to feel it. Yimo really didn't fear an ordinary Tao Essence Divine Emperor. When Elder Shi heard that Yimo killed Mo Fu, he was concerned with Yimo. Mo Fu was stronger than him, but lately he learned a time law god art. If he fought against Mo Fu now, he wouldn't be scared. In order to scare Yimo, Elder Shi used his strongest god art immediately. When he saw that Yimo couldn't even stay awake in his time law, he knew that he overestimated Yimo. Pu Hoshi watched on the side in confusion. She didn't understand why Yimo couldn't even struggle. Elder Shi's hand grabbed at Yimo's neck, but when his hands were about to touch Yimo, he felt Yimo's neck move and he grabbed on Yimo's shoulder. He didn't plan to kill Yimo. Other people thought the miss was nothing, but this Elder Shi knew very clearly this was extremely powerful space law. Elder Shi's hands grabbed on Yimo's shoulder and this extremely powerful force came. He felt his fingers ache and then there was a cracking sound. The Tao Essence Divine Emperor knew his fingers had all broke. Then, he saw a foot kick on his face. He was kicked flying without resistance. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2186 Shocking News. Chapter 2186 Shocking News. When this Tao Essence old man flew out, half his face was destroyed by Yimo's kick. He was shocked but at the same time rejoiced that Yimo didn't kill him. Lu Tai looked at this scene in extreme shock. He felt his surroundings completely freeze. At the same time, he was grabbed by a huge God Essence hand and thrown on the ground. Lu Tai was scared soulless. He had been careful enough, but he didn't expect this Yimo could easily smash away his Tao Essence Divine Emperor. This power was no weaker than his father. Young Castle Master Lu, I still don't want to give 90% of my stall to you. What do you think? Yimo looked at Lu Tai, who was under his foot, and said. Lu Tai finally realized why Yimo could have his stall here. Yimo had the power. Even Tao Essence was no match for him. Such stall was nothing. His life was in Yimo's hands now. He quickly said, Chen Bei, WN Bei was ignorant. On the account that you stayed at my immortal rest tower for a few years, please show mercy. If it was some other divine emperor, he would be furious and embarrassed hearing this, but Yimo didn't. He was indeed grateful to that immortal rest tower. Otherwise, he wouldn't even be willing to give him 10%. That's why Yimo didn't kill Lu Tai and the Tao Essence next to him. Immortal friends, on that account, please don't attack. Pu Hoshi was worried seeing Lu Tai was stomped on the ground. She helped Yimo before at the Tao Exchange social. Yimo didn't keep stepping on Lu Tai but didn't let him go either. He looked at Pu Hoshi and said, since he's in my hands, name a price. I'm willing to pay 10 billion God crystals, Lu Tai immediately said before Pu Hoshi could speak. Pu Hoshi sighed. She could tell that Yimo didn't plan to kill Lu Tai. Otherwise, he could just kill Lu Tai and all his belongings would be his. In such situation, Yimo would be settled with at most 5 billion God crystals, but now, this young castle master said 10 billion. Hearing this, Yimo envied the wealth of the Shadow Void Castle. 10 billion was no small number, but this Lu Tai gave it out so easily. Seeing Lu Tai take out a storage ring, Yimo let go off the pressure and yelled, piss off. Yes, Lu Tai quickly charged out of the range of the shop and went with the other divine emperors of the castle to a corner at the square. Pu Hoshi heard Yimo's sound transmission before she left, telling her to keep her mouth tight. How could she not know now that Yi Mo killed Mo Fu? Even if Yi Mo didn't tell, she wouldn't dare to spread things. That bastard, how dare he set me up? Lu Tai cursed. If he still didn't know by now that he was set up by Sichu Hong, he would be an idiot. Sichu Hong clearly wanted Yi Mo to kill him, but Yi Mo didn't. Lu Dao Essence had recovered his injuries and said in confusion that Sichu Hong probably has some conflict with Yi Mo, so he set up young Castle Master to attack Yi Mo. He definitely thought Yi Mo would kill young Castle Master, but that Yi Mo is strange. Does he know that the young Castle Master was set up? He didn't kill young Castle Master and just took some god crystals. Some god crystals? 10 billion is some god crystals? This Yi bastard is no good person. Lu Tai felt the pain now. He knew that Yi Mo was extremely scary. Otherwise, how could Sichu Hong use him to offend Yi Mo? Young Castle Master, you must not say that. The Dao Actualization Divine Emperor sent out to get intel came back and quickly said, "What did you find out?" The young Castle Master immediately beamed nervous. He lost face and lost 10 Bellino god crystals after being taught a lesson. There was no way he wasn't annoyed. This was enough to get his father involved. He was ready to notify the Castle Master, his father. But before he did that, he had to know what Yi Mo did at the Void Marketplace to dare to take such a stall. Shulwan quickly said that Yi Mo is said to be a Dao Actualization Pill Divine, and some people even say his Dao Essence Pill Divine. Before we came to the Void Marketplace, the human race had a huge clash with the Aquarius race under his lead. Pill Divine Yi killed 4 Dao Essence Divine Emperor alone and more than 100 Divine Emperors below Dao Essence. What? Everyone from the Shadow Void Castle was dazed, just like when Shulwan first heard this. Yi Mo dared to lead the declined human race to fight with the Aquarius race and dared to kill more than 100 Aquarius race. Was he not scared of death? Why was he still alive now? Lu Tai had completely calmed down now. The reason he thought Yi Mo didn't kill him before was because Yi Mo was scared of the Shadow Void Castle. Now, it didn't seem so at all. Yi Mo wasn't even scared of the Aquarius race. Continue. The young Castle Master breathed and said slowly. He rejoiced that he didn't impulsively send a message to his father. Otherwise, this thing might not end well. The Shadow Void Castle was strong, but they had no primordial essence Divine Emperor. Seeing the young Castle Master calm down, Shulwan said during that battle, twice the amount of Aquarius race died. Not only that, the human race has become very united under Yi Mo. In the Void Marketplace, no one would abuse the human race for no reason. This Dao Fruit Tower opening, the human race took back the 30 spots that belonged to them and got 14 more. So amazing. Pu Hoshi and the other Lu Dao Essence Divine Emperor gasped. The Dao Essence Divine Emperors here at the Void Marketplace were the strong ones of every race. Yi Mo could take 44 spots at the distribution as absurdity amongst absurdity. Not only so, Yi Mo killed Demon Race Dao Essence Divine Emperor Gong Xiong and beat Abyssal Race Dao Essence Divine Emperor Zhongli Hurin and robbed 5 spots from each. Hearing this, all the Divine Emperors here gasped in disbelief. After a long while, Lu Tai cursed, no wonder Sichu Hong wanted to trick us. Yi Mo killed Demon Race Dao Essence Divine Emperor, and so they want us to fight with Yi Mo, and then I would call my father over. Then my father would fight Yi Mo while they watched. The Lu Dao Essence Divine Emperor nodded. It's probably so. If they called a half primordial essence, first it would take too long, second they would have no reason to fight. After all, being killed at the Dao Fruit Tower distribution was normal. The human race had killed countless human race Divine Emperors. Luckily young Castle Master was calm. Now, we just lost some god crystals. Pu Hoshi sighed. The Aquarius race is a precedent. They might have had conflict with Yi Mo, but it wasn't to the point of large-scale battles. They were definitely set up by the demon race. The young Castle Master did the right thing. We just lost some god crystals. Hearing 2 Dao Essence Divine Emperors compliment him, Lu Tai felt great about himself and nodded. We'll pretend we don't know this. After we buy enough Dao fruits, we'll go back to the castle and tell this to my father. A few days later, Qiao He, Shenyu Shui, Jiyu Being and a few more human race Divine Emperors came back. In a few days, They've spent most of their god crystals and the materials for sect building were pretty much prepared. Seeing more and more human divine emperors come to Yi Mo's stall, Lu Tai rejoiced even more that he did the right thing. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2187 Dao Fruit Tower closes S. Chapter 2187 Dao Fruit Tower closes S. There were a lot of Dao fruits in the Dao Fruit Tower, but the time allowed in was too short, only 10 days. Powerful people could charge up to the 7th level in the 10 days, but weaker ones could only stay below 7th level. Those weak and unlucky ones might still be on the 2nd level after 10 days. Yi Mo didn't go in because the time was short and he knew his Dao vindication path. If he went in, those Dao waves would affect his own Dao. 10 days passed in an instant. On the 10th day, even the extremely spacious Dao Fruit Tower Square was full. Kong Han and Tian Rui Divine Emperor came to the Dao Fruit Tower Square. Yi Mo thought even if there were halfway primordial essences to come, there would just be a few, but now, Yi Mo realized he was wrong. A few powerful spirit scents scanned outside his restriction. Yi Mo knew that this was people no weaker than Kong Han Divine Emperor. Not only so, Yi Mo saw the 2 half-primordial essences at the auction. Their spirit sense was very familiar. Yi Mo guessed that there were at least 6 halfway primordial essences at the square. One of them entered the Aquarius race and another entered the Beast race stall. Yi Mo watched the Aquarius one the most. No matter what, he definitely knew the conflict between the human and Aquarius race. The reason they didn't attack yet was one to show respect to the Void Marketplace, but another reason was to let him buy the Dao fruits for them. Realizing this, Yi Mo didn't worry anymore. If there was just 1 halfway primordial essence, it would be easy to deal with. If there were 2, things would be a bit troublesome. Luckily, he was prepared and made the buys needed. The black restrictions of the end of the square emitted white lights suddenly. These white lights rattled the black restrictions. The Dao Fruit Tower is about to close, people are coming out. The white light disappeared and the black restriction was open. A few hundred Dao Actualization Divine Emperors quickly dispersed. A few Dao Actualization Divine Emperor immediately dashed out of the square and disappeared. Clearly, they're from the God rank. More stayed as they knew staying here was the safest. If they didn't have confidence, charging out of the Void Marketplace now was the stupidest action. Nearly 100 people went into the tower but less than 900 came out. Yi Mo scanned the human race Dao Actualization Divine Emperors. 32 people went in but 30 came out. Without a doubt, those 2 had died inside. Luo Qinghe, Qin Xuanji, Wang Nanshuang, Dong'en and so all came out safely. None of them left the square and all came to Yi Mo's stall. Looking at their faces, Yi Mo immediately knew that they harvested a lot. Martial brother, the greatest harvest for me this time is 2 Qian essence fruit. I also got 6 more Dao fruits on top of that, Luo Qinghe said excitedly. Yi Mo immediately gathered the 30 divine emperors and said those who got 5 element heaven fruit, Fu Liu fruit, abstruse heaven fruit, purple heaven Dao fruit came leave the Dao fruit with me. I will concoct them into God pill. As for the other Dao fruits that can't be made into God pill, keep it yourselves. I was planning to collect enough Qian essence fruits and increase a few Dao essence divine emperors on our side, but now we can't do that. The 3 vice sect leaders lead the human race divine emperors back to the divine Dao realm and build the divine Dao sect. Xu Feng asked in shock, did something happen? Yi Mo said not yet, but I guess soon. A halfway primordial essence came to the Aquarius race. He was very subtle but I still noticed him. Halfway primordial essence. Some human divine emperors looked at each other. Halfway primordial essence was infinitely close to Dao vindication 3rd step. If the difference between 1st step and 2nd step was a deep ravine, then the difference between 2nd and 3rd step was endless. Seeing them look worriedly, Yi Mo said calmly, don't worry, that half primordial essence is watching me. As long as I don't go, they won't go. I've already borrowed a void ship from Xinghong. You can use it to go back to the divine Dao realm. I got 3 Qian essence fruit and a heaven martial void breaking fruit. Qin Xuanji was about to take out the Dao fruits. Yi Mo quickly said, keep the fruits on you. You only need one of the Qian essence fruit. See who else in the sect needs it and then make arrangements based on their contribution. Remember, if the Aquarius race really dares to attack the divine Dao realm, don't keep fighting if you can't beat them. One day, we'll get back at them. Yi Mo made these arrangements and said to Qiao, he immortal friends Qiao, if you trust me then please go to the divine Dao realm. At the same time, give me the location of the Guan Yuan Palace. After I'm done with things I will go there and help with pill concoction. I will then go back to the divine Dao realm after finishing. Then, you can leave the divine Dao realm. If it's fast then it should be done in a decade, but even if it's slow I wouldn't take more than 100 years. Qiao he was helpless but he knew that there was no way Yi Mo would go with him before he finished his things. He had been searching for a powerful pill divine for 2 millennia. It was impossible to find a powerful Dao essence pill divine like Yi Mo. Now that Yi Mo asked him to go to the divine Dao realm, it was clearly for him to help the human race. If he didn't agree, Yi Mo might not concoct pills for him. He had been with Yi Mo for a while and understood Yi Mo's character a little. Yi Mo wasn't even scared of Aquarius race, there was no way he would be scared of the Guang Yuan Palace. Thinking about this, Qiao he took out a jade bead and said, this is a void location bead of the Guang Yuan Palace. You can sense the palace from here in the void. The human divine emperors of the shop quickly left and soon, Yi Mo was alone. His spirit sense was watching the Aquarius race. He found that the Dao essence divine emperor and half primordial essence didn't leave and felt assured. Now that he was alone, my plan to let small ginseng or Qiu rang out to help. Small ginseng was ice ginseng king, but with countless Dao fruits here, small ginseng wouldn't cause people to fight over him immediately. But soon, Yi Mo found in joy that Mu Xiaoyun was out of solitary cultivation. She was immortal friend's peak stage now. The next thing for her was Dao vindication. Yi Mo had this many Dao fruit and chaos kai in the golden page world, there was no worries at all. Yi Mo immediately called out Mu Xiaoyun and as soon as she came out, she came up and hugged Yi Mo tightly. Husband, I don't want to go into solitary cultivation again. It had been a torture for Mu Xiaoyun all these years in the time formation disk. With her talent and all these resources, she definitely didn't need all these years to reach immortal friend's peak stage, but she missed Yi Mo too much and would often wake up from solitary cultivation. She forced herself back into solitary cultivation. This was not the mindest for cultivation. Yi Mo felt this and patted her back. Don't worry Xiaoyun, you won't need to anymore. Your immortal friend's peak stage, but your Dao heart isn't full. It's not good for Dao vindication. You can stay with me for a while before you vindicate Dao. MHM. Mu Xiaoyun was like a tame cat. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2188 Collect Dao Fruit Like Crazy. Chapter 2188 Collect Dao Fruit Like Crazy. When Yi Mo took Mu Xiaoyun out of the shop, there were nearly 100 people outside. Seeing this, Yi Mo rejoiced. He could tell they came out from the Dao Fruit Tower. They definitely came to sell or ask him for pill concoction. Husband, are we at the Void Marketplace? What square is this? Why are there so many people? Mu Xiaoyun asked in shock, seeing so many divine emperors squeezed here. This is Void Marketplace Dao Fruit Tower Square. I'm going to go in for pill concoction. You stay out and help me collect Dao fruits and give out pills. Yi Mo said. Pill divine Yi, is what's on your tablet true? I have 2 abstruse heaven fruit, I want to ask you to concoct abstruse heaven pill. Pill divine Yi, I have a purple heaven Dao fruit, I want to trade for 5 god cloud pill. Pill divine Yi, most people trusted him as he had a stall here before. Immortal friends, of course what's on Yi Mo's sign is true. Even if you just give me 1 Dao fruit and I destroyed it in pill concoction, I'll compensate you. Then Yi Mo continued, I'll put it out now. The number of pills per cauldron is 9. If it's 2 of the same Dao fruit then you get 9 pills. If it's just 1 Dao fruit then 4 pills. Remember to prepare the supplementary God Spirit herb yourselves. If I have to provide it, then you have to pay more god crystals or take less god pills. Yimo knew that in terms of buying with god crystals, he was probably the weakest here. Any merchant shop here had more god crystals than him. He probably only had about tens of billions, but any merchant shop here had more than 100 billion. He could only use god pill to get Dao fruits. With his current power, he can easily concoct 12 pills per cauldron. Saying 9 was still extremely amazing in the void marketplace. Usually, those who get 6 pills per cauldron were extremely powerful pill divines. Okay, I'll come first. I have 2 abstruse heaven fruits, the Dao actualization divine emperor at the front said. Even if it was just 6 pills, he would accept without hesitation. Yimo took these 2 fruits and left things outside to Mu Xiaoyun. He went in first. Many people were here, but most of them just watched. Many people knew that Yimo was pill divine, but the Dao fruit was too precious. What if this person destroyed it? Even if they killed Yimo, they wouldn't be able to get back their Dao fruits. Due to Yimo's big sign and shocking content, more and more people came. There would be at least 4,000 to 5,000 Dao fruits each time the Dao fruit tower opened. Some people didn't want to waste time going to higher levels, so they would collect more numbers of low-level Dao fruits. Yimo only used 5 minutes to finish a cauldron of abstruse heaven pill. Husband. Mu Xiaoyun saw Yimo come out and stood by Yimo nervously. She was Immortal Friends peak stage, but no one here was Immortal Friends. They were all divine emperors. Pill divine Yi, how is it? The Dao actualization divine emperor asked nervously. Yimo took out a jade bottle and said, "It's done, have a look." The Dao actualization divine emperor opened and poured out a pill. Then he said in shock, 9 extreme grade abstruse heaven pills. He had never expected for extreme grade god pills to appear. He would be able to accept even middle grade. He quickly put the pills into the jade bottle and then left the crowd without even saying thank you. Everyone nearby saw this immediately. Mu Xiaoyun immediately became busy. All sorts of Dao fruit were sent over. Some Dao fruit not even from the Dao fruit tower came. Dao fruits became Yimo's and god pills stacked up in Yimo's storage ring. The divine emperors left happily with their jade bottles. Later on, more and more people came to ask for pill concoction. Half a day had passed. Yimo collected a few hundred Dao fruits. Xiaoyun, stop collecting Dao fruits. Yimo told Mu Xiaoyun to stop. Yimo could clearly feel many looks of animosity. Clearly, he overdid it. He collected that many Dao fruits all by himself. What would all the other shops and powers do? Plus, he felt he couldn't keep staying here. Mu Xiaoyun wasn't dumb. She was planning to remind Yimo even if he didn't say it. Now that Yimo said this, she gave the Dao fruits to Yimo and stood on his side. Yimo took out the god pills he concocted and gave them out. Then, Yimo saluted with his fists. Luo Yu Dao fruit shop is done buying now. Everyone please choose other shops. How can that do? It's not my turn yet. I didn't get a chance, I've been waiting for a long time. Pill Divine Yi, what's going on? When Yimo announced this, he clearly felt the killing intent Kai dissipate by a lot. If Yimo didn't slaughter the Aquarius race, there would have long been people to challenge Yimo's stall. Yimo said apologetically, I've been concocting for half a day, my sea of consciousness isn't holding up. When would Pill Divine Yi begin pill concoction again? Some people immediately asked. I don't know. I'm going back for solitary cultivation. Maybe when I finish solitary cultivation. Yimo's words disappointed a lot of people, making them regret not coming here earlier. It was normal for a Dao actualization divine emperor to go into solitary cultivation for a few 100,000 years, who knew when he would come out? But no one dared to force Yimo to concoct pills. Those divine emperors could only put away their Dao fruits. Wait, just when Yimo was about to pack up his stall, a heavy voice stopped him. It was a man wearing black robes and a hat. Yimo could tell there was something with this hat. It was a top-level stealth magic artifact. What bewildered Yimo was that this man's power fluctuated between Dao actualization and Dao essence. Yimo guessed that this person could reach Dao essence at any time. You're looking for me? Yimo asked. The man said heavily, that's right, I have a business deal with you. Yimo nodded. Come in then. He looked at Mu Xiaoyun. Xiaoyun, come in. She stay outside, I came to talk to you alone. The man's voice went cold. Hearing this, Yimo sneered. Then don't talk about it. I'm going. Then Yimo packed up the sign. If he didn't feel this man wasn't simple, Yimo wouldn't even let him come in. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2189 Primordial Essence Duskfru. Chapter 2189 Primordial Essence Duskfru. This black-robed man didn't expect Yimo's attitude was this. Seeing Yimo start to pack away his sign, he could only say, if you're not scared of exposing it, then she can come in. The thing I'm going to discuss will definitely benefit you, but if it's exposed, it would bring lethal disaster. Sit down and talk. Yimo pointed at a chair. He was a bit curious what would benefit him. The man sat down and took out a jade box onto the table and said, have a look at this first. Yimo opened the jade box. A powerful world-opening primordial essence Kai came into his face. Yimo's spirit sense saw that it was a faint purple fruit in the jade box. Yimo closed the jade box and looked at this man in shock. This is Dao Fruit Tower Level 9 Primordial Essence Dusk Fruit. Seeing Yimo was only a little shocked, the man nodded with approval. That's right, this is Primordial Essence Dusk Fruit. This was a Primordial Essence Dao Fruit. It could allow a Dao Essence learn the third step. One of this was invaluable, and yet this man could get one. Yimo was shocked, but Yimo wasn't going to rely on Dao Fruit to vindicate Dao. I've heard the Primordial Essence Dusk Fruit never appeared. How did you get it? Yimo asked. This Dao Fruit was attractive but not something Yimo would do anything for. The man said, of course I got it in the Dao Fruit Tower. There's no wonder that the fruit hasn't appeared before. There's a secret in the Dao Fruit Tower. That is, those who picked Dao Fruit in the previous 8 levels wouldn't be able to get to the 9th level no matter how strong they are. So, if you want to pick the 9th level fruit, you must not pick any Dao Fruit from level 1 to 8. Yimo realized. No wonder. How did you know? Yimo subconsciously asked. The man said slowly, how I know isn't important. What's important is if you're interested in it or not. If you are, we can deal. What do you want? 11. Yimo asked. I heard you're a Dao Essence Pill Divine. Did you concoct the cosmic Dao pill that appeared in the Void Marketplace before? The black-robed Divine Emperor asked and seemed a little nervous. Yimo nodded. Indeed. I knew it. The man's face suddenly became excited and then asked, do you have more cosmic Dao pill? Then, as though fearing Yimo would deny, he added, the Void Marketplace Merchant Tower got 6 and sold it all out. I've been watching you for a while. I know that each cauldron you definitely have more than 9 pills. This means that you have more than 3 cosmic Dao pills on you. You're planning to use Primordial Essence Dusk Fruit to get my cosmic Dao pills? Yimo realized but was extremely shocked. One Primordial Essence Dusk Fruit was countless times more precious than cosmic Dao pill. This person was about to reach Dao Essence Divine Emperor. Was he dumb to do this deal? Yimo scanned his spirit sense on this black-robed man, and moments later, Yimo realized. This person probably had some problems breaking through to Dao Essence. He wasn't Dao Actualization nor Dao Essence. He was in quite an awkward predicament. If he couldn't solve this problem quickly, his foundation would collapse and he would never be able to progress. Compared to the Qian Essence Fruit, the Cosmic Dao Pill had something more precious. Because it was concocted from Cosmic Lotus, it had this void space Dao wave. This Dao wave would allow the user to remove unnecessary learnings before they learned Dao Essence Dao. It would allow the user's Dao to be in this void state and then learn Dao Essence. The Qian Essence Fruit allowed one to feel the Dao Essence Dao at Dao Actualization peak stage level. This black-robed man for some reason learned partial Dao Essence Dao wave before he was ready. This Dao wave wasn't something he needed, so he needed the Cosmic Dao Pill to remove this unnecessary learning and learn Dao Essence again. Realizing this, Yimo didn't feel strange. This person was like someone who was about to die of thirst in the desert. If he was to choose between 1 kilogram of water and 1 kilogram of gold, he would definitely choose water. The man returned to being calm and said, "That's right. I do want to use the primordial essence dusk fruit to exchange for your cosmic Tao pill. Of course, you know the value primordial essence dusk fruit is countless times better than the cosmic Tao pill, so you need to make some compensations too." Emo didn't speak. If this person wasn't so desperately after the cosmic Tao pill, he would be willing to make some compensations, but now he didn't. Emo wanted to use the primordial essence dusk fruit to trade for one cosmic Tao pill. Seeing Emo not talk, the black-robed man said, "Give me 10 billion god crystals and 50 Tao fruits as well as 2 cosmic Tao pills." Emo almost laughed in anger. This guy really dared to ask. "Don't you think your request is too absurd?" Emo sneered. The man said, "No, why are primordial essence divine emperors so rare? It's because they have no fortune. This Tao fruit is the fortune. Those who want to become primordial essence divine emperor would pay many times more just to get the Tao fruit." The man's tone changed. "I know you're strong, but if I spread the word pill divine ye got a primordial essence dusk fruit, do you know the consequences? Even if you don't have it, those halfway primordial essence wouldn't let you go simply. You're threatening me?" Emo's tone went cold. "The man didn't care. If you think I'm threatening you, then it is. Oh, in that case, when I go out I'll say you have at least 2 primordial essence dusk fruit. Wouldn't you be facing greater danger than me?" Emo said. The black-robed man said, "Without fear, go ahead. No one knows who I am." Emo laughed. "No one knows who you are. Even if you didn't care about the first 8 levels, not anyone can get into the 9th level. Tao actualization and want to get to the 9th level. I can't find anyone else other than top 3 of God rank. From your looks, I'm guessing you're Taishu Sure, God rank number 1. Then, Emo suddenly got up. "Perhaps I can go say it now. Leave, I'm going to pack up my stall and promote this news." Seeing Emo leave without even looking at the primordial essence dusk fruit, the black-robed man was worried. He quickly got up and gritted his teeth. "I'll trade with you. 1 primordial essence dusk fruit for 1 cosmic Tao pill." Emo looked calmly at him. "When did I tell you I was going to do that? The primordial essence dusk fruit doesn't have much use for me. If you want to say I have it, then go ahead." The black-robed man was truly worried this time. Emo didn't want to take such huge advantage. The man calmed down quickly. He realized he was no match for this pill divine Yi in terms of business. Thinking about this, he said, "Genuinely, I was Tao actualization peak stage, and when I entered the 9th level, I was infected by the primordial essence dusk fruit tree's primordial essence Kai. I was automatically going to learn the Tao waves. If my foundation wasn't deep, I would _VE exploded from the Tao Kai. I_VE suppressed it, but I am now at a state where I can't reach Tao essence. I can only use the cosmic Tao pill to remove the messy Tao Kai." It was just as he guessed. Emo thought to himself, this 9th level was so powerful. It seemed that even if he went, he probably couldn't escape such fate. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2190 Battle Half Primordial Essence. Chapter 2190 Battle Half Primordial Essence. Emo really didn't care about the primordial essence dusk fruit. Hearing this, he stopped and said, 5 billion god crystals, 1 primordial essence dusk fruit for 1 cosmic Tao pill. Hearing this, the black-robed man almost spat blood, but he resisted his fury and took out a storage ring and gave the fruit to Emo. "Okay, give me the cosmic Tao pill." Emo checked the god crystals and fruit before giving a jade bottle to the black-robed man while saying, "Be me moral." The man checked the pill and sneered, "I know you're very moral. Perhaps we will meet again, and when we meet again, I hope you can be as moral as today." The man said and left Emo's shop. "Let's go." Emo took Mu Xiaoyun out of the shop and collected his shop magic artifact. "Your pill divine Yi." As soon as Emo packed up the shop, a skinny old man appeared before Emo and Mu Xiaoyun. Half primordial essence. Emo's eyes glanced at this old man and saw his power level. Although this person had no Tao wave and his eyes seemed very ordinary, Emo knew that this person was one of the half primordial essence who appeared at the auction. "I am. You're looking for me?" Yimo saluted with his fists and asked calmly. I'm Void Marketplace Auction Peng Yuan. I've long heard Pill Divine Yi's great name. Before, Pill Divine Yi was doing business, so I didn't dare to disturb, but now that you're free, would you have the time to come sit at my place? The old man's tone was rather polite. Yimo recognized this person and knew he had long been here. If it was before the Dao Fruit Tower was open, Yimo would go, but the most important thing for him now was to leave the Void Marketplace. He wasn't going to chat with this half-primordial essence. Yimo immediately finished. Thank you for your invite, Immortal Friends Peng, but I have someone waiting for me. After I'm done with that, I'll come visit Immortal Friends Peng. Then he added, I'll be going first, Immortal Friends Peng. I believe we will be seeing again soon. Then, Yimo pulled Mu Xiaoyun and left the Dao Fruit Tower Square. He didn't want to talk to Peng Yuan, as he definitely didn't have good business coming to find him. This guy seemed even stronger than Kong Han Divine Emperor. At the same time, Yimo knew that the people from Shadow Void Castle was here. Him selling great primordial god rune Dao fruit there could be exposed at any time. Yimo was ready to fight with Peng Yuan when he left. He was thinking that if Peng Yuan wanted to force him, he would fight him. Seeing Yimo ran before he could even answer, Peng Yuan's face sunk. He had never seen such a cocky Dao actualization Divine Emperor. He was going to charge up to him and stop him. Immortal Friends Peng, wait. A pale-faced man who looked like he drowned to death stopped Peng Yuan. Peng Yuan was going to rage, but when he saw this person, his face paused for a moment and he said, Immortal Friends Shen, what do you mean? This person was Aquarius half-primordial essence and was no weaker than him. He had the Aquarius race behind him. The man said with a coarse voice, Immortal Friends Peng, listen to me. Yimo is a big enemy of the Aquarius race. He killed more than 100 of our divine emperors. If I can't bring him back to the Aquarius race, I won't be able to report back. Peng Yuan's face eased up a bit. Clearly, he already knew this. He also knew that the reason this Aquarius half-primordial essence prepared to attack now was for Yimo to help them collect Dao fruit. As though knowing what Peng Yuan thought, the half-primordial essence said, I know why Immortal Friends Peng is after Yimo. Yimo stayed here for half a day, but I think he has more than 200 Dao fruits. I, Shen Wei Kai, promise that if Immortal Friends Peng don't stop me from getting revenge, I will give you 100 Dao fruits. He then looked at another half-primordial essence who was leaving the square and said, of course, Brother Peng needs to help me stop that Luo Juanxia so I can go attack. No problem. Peng Yuan instantly agreed. He only needed to stop Luo Juanxia and could get 100 Dao fruits. This was too worth. Now, the Aquarius race would take the risk and he just needed to get rich. How could he reject this? Kong Han saw Luo Juanxia, Peng Yuan, and the Aquarius Divine Emperor chase after Yimo and sneered. If Yimo was that easily robbed, could he survive till now? Tian Rui Divine Emperor didn't even look. He just watched the stalls for Dao fruits. If there was a Dao fruit he needed, he would immediately go up to discuss. Xiaoyun, I'll send you into the Golden Page world first. Yimo said as soon as he left the Void Marketplace. He knew that Aquarius race half-primordial essence wouldn't let him go easily. Mu Xiaoyun didn't know the exact situation, but she knew that there was someone after them. She had to stay in the Golden Page world as she was too weak. Without Mu Xiaoyun, Yimo's space-time boat sliced across the void. It went faster and faster. He was choosing the direction to enter the abyssal race. In less than a day, Yimo's spirit sense noticed a fiant light. Yimo knew that it was the Aquarius half-primordial essence. It was normal that a half-primordial essence could chase up. How could a half-primordial essence not have extreme-grade flying god artifact? Yimo felt it was a pity. He didn't have enough time. If he had enough time, he would definitely set up a formation first. Although he wasn't scared of half-primordial essence, it didn't mean he could definitely beat them. A barren planet appeared in Yimo's spirit sense. This planet didn't even have an atmosphere. It floated in the void more like a huge asteroid. Yimo landed on this planet immediately and threw down a few formation flags. He would use anything he could to fight a half-primordial essence. He didn't even finish half the formation and the half-primordial essence landed on this planet as well. Yimo released Zishu and stared at this half-primordial essence. His face was pale. Do you know why I didn't kill you immediately? Because I know you're a Dao Essence Pill Divine and you can even concoct extreme-grade Cosmic Dao Pill. The Divine Emperor stared at Yimo for a while and said slowly, "Give up and surrender. I won't kill you. The Aquarius race needs a pill divine. You can stay in our race to concoct pills to make up for your sins. Eat my sword first before you ramble on." Zishu suddenly waved out a 300 kilometers long purple ray and hacked over. This was Sword God Art Shatter Space. An even brighter watercolor suddenly appeared before the purple sword ray and smashed together. Thud. Watercolor splashed apart and purple sword ray was broken. Powerful God Essence backlash and terrifying void power came. Yimo felt his chest go heavy. It was as though he was struck by a huge hammer and sent flying. That watercolor light that splashed tore open Yimo's realm domain and smashed at where Yimo was. Explosion sounded. A little less than half of this barren planet was destroyed. The formation flags Yimo set up before were completely pulverized too. Yimo landed in one corner of this planet. His god essence was still messy. He didn't expect a half-primordial essence to be this strong. If this person was a primordial essence divine emperor, wouldn't that mean he would just die? He didn't even see what magic artifact this divine emperor used. No wonder you can kill our Aquarius divine emperor. You have some power indeed. You broke free from my realm domain. In that case, take another hit. The divine emperor released his magic artifact again. This time, Yimo saw clearly, it was an ordinary white ruler. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2191 Terrifying Monk. Chapter 2191 Terrifying Monk. When he attacked again, the Aquarius Divine Emperor's heart was on fire. He was certain that Yimo's sword was a primordial spirit artifact. Otherwise, Yimo would be heavily injured just then. Not only that, Yimo's strike struck ripples in such solid void. If this wasn't a primordial spirit artifact, how could it do this? At the same time, he released Zishu again. The sword ray wasn't as vibrant as before. It was only around 300 m long, but it was twisted. This time, Yimo attacked with full force. This was a sword god art even he couldn't control. Falling Mark Sword Rune. Yimo knew how terrifying his Falling Mark Sword Rune was now. If he couldn't control it, this sword rune might backlash him. But Yimo was facing a half-primordial essence. If he held back it was suicide. This half-primordial essence immediately felt Yimo's Falling Mark Sword Rune. He could immediately tell it was related to Great Primordial God Rune. After realizing that Yimo knew Great Primordial God Rune, he was instead very happy. He knew that Great Primordial God Rune could be passed down. If it really was Great Primordial God Rune, then even if Yimo was a pill divine, he would still kill Yimo. The Great Primordial God Rune was no small matter. Even he could resist his desires for it. The 300 m long twisted sword rune swept the entire void. This sword rune seemed much smaller than the one before, but the lethal force was bigger than the 300 kilometer long purple sword ray. The void was instantly bound by the god rune, and this soul-piercing destructive killing intent pierced everything. The half-primordial essence who didn't consider Yimo to be much of a threat was shocked and scared after seeing the twisted sword rune. At this moment, he felt the sword rune set gaze on all over his body. At this moment, the Aquarius Divine Emperor's white ruler turned into this heavenly screen that was going to block the destructive sword rune out. Yimo was shaking all over his body. The half-primordial essence didn't give him this feeling. He felt that he couldn't control this sword rune. This sword rune was too scary. Yimo was certain that if he could master it, he only needed to use instant second and then golden arrow of divine extermination, and he would definitely be able to kill this half-primordial essence. However, he couldn't control this god art, much less use other god art. Yimo really wanted to keep using this sword rune, but he knew that if he continued, his mind would be Tom. He was only a Tao actualization divine emperor, but he knew a god art far beyond that of Tao actualization divine emperor. Yet, his Zishu could release such god art. When there was cracking sounds in Yimo's sea of consciousness, Yimo no longer dared to let this sword rune rampage. He forcefully stopped the destructive lethal force of the sword rune. He knew that if this continued, he would definitely be able to kill his half-primordial essence. He didn't even need to use golden arrow of divine extermination. At the same time, he knew that after killing this half-primordial essence, he would be backlashed by this sword rune. Even if he didn't die, his sea of consciousness would explode. He would become an idiot. Rumble. When the sword rune clashed with the white screen, cracks appeared in the surrounding void. Yimo's clothes shattered and his sea of consciousness made cracking sounds. The powerful god essence backlash sent Yimo flying. The broken planet could no longer handle such power and was destroyed. The half-primordial essence spat many mouthfuls of blood and his clothes were completely torn. He was covered in blood. Clearly, he was injured more. Yimo forced down the pain in his sea of consciousness and was about to release the golden arrow of divine extermination when he heard a furious roar, "Who destroyed my house? I'm going to kill you, bastard." Yimo saw that amidst the pieces of the planet a monk emitting golden light around his body shot out. He had no clothes but the golden light wrapped him. The half-primordial essence was closer to him than Yimo. Yimo saw this monk grab at the half-primordial essence and roared, "I'm going to crush you, insect. How dare you destroy my house?" Yimo wasn't shocked that this monk was hiding in this barren planet. He often did that too. However, Yimo was shocked that this monk easily grabbed this half-primordial essence like an insect. The half-primordial essence couldn't resist at all. Yimo didn't dare to stop at all now. He swept up some dark ray and disappeared into the void. The instant he went in, he saw the half-primordial essence getting crushed to pieces. A mere Tao actualization dares to run? Do you think my head is still clumsy? The monk's hand loosened and the half-primordial essence's storage ring and small world was taken. Everything else completely disappeared. The monk grabbed at the direction Yimo went. A huge crack appeared in the void. The monk stepped in immediately, but then he murmured, "This kid is really cunning, but don't even think about running from me." He was in no rush to grab Yimo. Instead, he took out some materials from the storage ring and they instantly turned into a complete set of Buddhist robes. When Yimo went into the crack, he felt like his sea of consciousness was going to explode. Yimo ate a few spirit sense recovery pills and hacked out Zishu. Another crevice appeared in the void and Yimo charged in without hesitation. Yimo kept hacking at the void with Zishu and going in. He was extremely experienced at running. He knew that for someone who could crush a half-primordial essence with one hand, even if he used all his means, he wouldn't be able to hurt this guy at all. Yimo didn't like the feeling of his life being controlled by someone else. His only line of life was to run away before that person could react. He couldn't escape in the same realm. He had to keep tearing open the void. In the shortest time, he opened more than 10 voids. Yimo felt his sea of consciousness was almost about to explode. He knew he couldn't keep doing this anymore. He didn't know what sort of void he was in right now. When he saw an asteroid group fly over, Yimo stuck onto one without hesitation and entered the Golden Page world. The Golden Page world seeped into the asteroid and disappeared into the endless dark void. At this moment, that monk had put on Buddhist robes. He patted his sleeves and said in contempt, "I want to see how a mere Tao actualization can escape to. How dare you destroy my house?" However, before he finished, his face changed. His spirit sense pierced many void realms but didn't find any signs of Yimo. He got away. This monk said in shock and then suddenly tore the space next to him and stepped in. He scanned out with his spirit sense again. The reason he wasn't scared of Yimo getting away was because his spirit sense could piece more than 10 void realms. Even if Yimo used magic artifact to tear open the void, Yimo wouldn't be able to escape his spirit sense range in a short time. But now, Yimo really was gone. "I could tell you were a slippery one. Count yourself lucky today. I can't be bothered wasting my time on a slippery eel like you. I have business to do, but what a waste of a good sword," the monk said and disappeared. 3 days later, Yimo came out of the Golden Page world, but his sea of consciousness still hadn't recovered. But with the Chaos Tree, he was much better than before. Yimo didn't feel too much danger coming out, but he didn't dare to be careless. He released Zishu and dashed away. Yimo guessed that Monk was probably a primordial essence divine emperor. Only a primordial essence divine emperor would be this terrifying. A primordial essence divine emperor would have no trouble tearing open void. How would Yimo dare to stay here? Plus Yimo didn't know where he was right now. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2192 How Time Have Passed. Chapter 2192 How Time Have Passed. 3 years later, Yimo stopped. He didn't know how many voids he had but he knew he was at the lowest level realm right now. Yimo knew that if he went around randomly like this then he would get nowhere even in 3,000 years. His Guang Yuan Palace location bead was powerful, but it couldn't locate it through countless realms. For such low-level realm void, Yimo believed that when his sea of consciousness completely recovered, his spirit sense would be able to easily pierce the realms. He would recover his sea of consciousness first. Yimo chose another asteroid and controlled the Golden Page world to go in. What Yimo didn't expect was that when he tried to use dark weed to repair his sea of consciousness directly, it was better than using corner soulweed pill. Yimo rejoiced like crazy. His sea of consciousness rarely had sustained such injuries before. Usually, it would recover with some pills. But this time, his sea of consciousness was injured so heavily not due to the half-primordial essence but because he used Zishu to use a god art beyond his capabilities. The dark weed started to repair his sea of consciousness. Yimo felt the Chaos Tree emit endless life force to support the dark weed in the reparation process. Yimo felt that as his sea of consciousness was repaired, there was significant change. His sea of consciousness seemed to be forming a new world. Yimo suddenly started to use the Spirit Will 9 transformations. His sea of consciousness was covered and a whole new world appeared in Yimo's will. The Chaos Tree suddenly moved to the sea of consciousness. His spirit sense multiplied like crazy. His sea of consciousness world rapidly completed. When the last crevice was filled, Yimo could sense this extremely powerful joyful feeling. His spirit sense was even easier to use. Spirit Will 9 transformations went through nirvana? Yimo murmured to himself. A year later, Yimo's sea of consciousness completely recovered and his Spirit Will 9 transformations reached 6th transformation nirvana. His sea of consciousness expanded like crazy and his spirit sense became stronger. Yimo then greeted Mu Xiaoyun and left the Golden Page world confidently. Yimo scanned his spirit sense out in the void. He wanted to know if his powerful spirit sense could yet penetrate low-level void realms. When his spirit sense saw things his eyes couldn't see, Yimo knew that his spirit sense could barely penetrate a realm here. If it was before he saw the Golden Monk, Yimo would be joyful, but now Yimo knew this was nothing. There were many people stronger than him in the vast universe. And he knew that his spirit sense was penetrating the weakest realm. This void was countless times weaker than even the void realm of the cultivation realm. Cosmos. When Yimo saw Cosmos in his spirit sense, he immediately rejoiced. Cosmos was different to void. There were countless planets in the cosmos and this meant the existence of life. Yimo immediately tore open this void realm and appeared in the cosmos. Countless planets appeared in his sea of consciousness. Most of them were lifeless planets. In this cosmos, there was no god Spirit Kai nor immortal Spirit Kai, even Spirit Kai was extremely scarce. Yimo scanned his spirit sense out slowly and when he saw the moon, he became very excited. The next moment, he saw Earth. Yimo didn't expect that after tearing through countless voids, he didn't find the abyssal realm but came back to Earth. This was Earth a few hundred years later, it had undergone huge change. Yimo immediately called out Xiaoyun. Xiaoyun had never been to Earth. He was going to take her to see. Even though it had changed, it was still where he once lived. Husband, we're in the cosmos. The Spirit Kai is so scarce here. Mu Xiaoyun asked in surprise. Yimo sighed, I'll take you to see where I lived before. A few hundred years passed. I've really never expected I could come back here. Mu Xiaoyun reacted and asked in surprise and joy, husband, we're at Earth. Yimo nodded, not yet but soon. A few hundred years. Ninghai City still had its name, but the entire city was much prettier than before. Yimo took Mu Xiaoyun to the house he lived in before. It had become a square, and the house he lived at before became a tourist spot. There were some tourists taking photos inside and eating at the stalls outside. Husband, you used to live here? Mu Xiaoyun looked at this small house and asked. Yimo nodded yes, this place left me with many memories. He thought of Qingxue and then Susu. Since he was here, it would be very easy to go back to Luo Yu. Then, he would take Qingxue, Luo Ying and everyone to the immortal realm. But soon, his eyes dimmed down and sighed. What's wrong, husband? Mu Xiaoyun asked. The place is still here but the people are not. Yimo exclaimed. Mu Xiaoyun held Yimo's hands and said softly, husband, sister Qingxue and Luo Ying are all at Mo Yu City. Don't worry. Perhaps they have ascended to the immortal realm already. Yimo shook his head. I'm not talking about them. Let's go. I'll take you to Luo Yu City. Yimo's spirit sense scanned to Luo Yu City. It was still extremely pretty, but Yimo saw no familiar person. When he left Luo City, he set up large spirit gathering formation and left behind many pills and spirit stones. But today, there was no one there. They either left the city or had passed away. It was due to this that Yimo felt extremely sad. No matter how powerful he was and how powerful his fortunes were, it would eventually turn to dust in the wake of time. One day, once he grasped time law in his hands, would he be truly eternal? Yimo finally realized now why time law was the strongest law. Yimo said in surprise. What did you see? Mu Xiaoyun asked. Yimo smiled. Someone familiar, let's go see. Perhaps I really am going. A middle-aged woman stood at the peak of a snowy mountain and murmured. She had spent a few hundred years in the Nei snow mountains here. Compared to other places, this place had more spirit kai, but despite this, she knew she had to leave. If Ning Sishuang didn't leave her some spirit stones despite their conflict, she would definitely not be able to reach nascent soul state. But in this place, she was the only nascent soul cultivator. She couldn't even find someone to talk to. She couldn't even go back to the Chu family. The family would think she's a monster. Sigh. The woman felt she was too shameless when she did those things to Yimo for cultivation. As her cultivation level progressed, her life views were changing. She had lived a few hundred years and seen many changes and ages, but so what? She was still alone here. Ning Sishuang told her to go Luo Yu City, but she didn't have the face to go. Chudan, I didn't expect you could reach nascent soul in such a spirit kai arid place. Yimo's voice sounded behind her. The woman suddenly turned around and looked with extreme shock. She even forgot to use spirit sense. Even though she was just nascent soul primary stage, who on earth could appear behind her without her noticing? Brother Yi, this woman knelt down without hesitation. If it was before, she would definitely think she was stronger than Yimo, but now she knew that even if she cultivated for a few lifetimes, she wouldn't be able to catch up to Yimo. This woman was Chu Dan, the one who used Chu family's Dragon Gate disc to get cultivation resources from Yimo. To be honest, Yimo looked down on her. But Yimo didn't want to bring this up anymore. After all, she was the only familiar person on Earth now. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2193 Past People No Longer Here. Chapter 2193 Past People No Longer Here. Yimo didn't even lift his hand and Chudan felt a power lift her up. She quickly stood up, not daring to talk. She was guessing if this extremely beautiful woman next to Yimo was Ni Sishuang's sister Ning Qingxue. She felt ashamed of herself. It was quite hard of you to reach nascent soul state in such a place. Yimo sighed. Chudan quickly said, that's because Sishuang pitied me and helped me a lot. Even my storage ring is given by her. Where is Sishuang? How come I don't see her? Yi Mo was planning to find Ning Siswang. Siswang told me Luo Yu City didn't have enough cultivation resources. She was going to the small world and enter Luo Yu continent from there. But Yi Mo felt curious. The Duan Hung Range's teleportation formation was broken. How did people go to the small world? Chu Dan said Siswang and them used a subtle teleportation formation to enter the small world. It said that the formation was found by Brother Yi's friend Wu Dao. Wu Dao told Siswang and them. Is Wu Dao monk still alive? Yi Mo was extremely shocked. Wu Dao was no cultivator, he was a martial artist. Chu Dan answered Wu Dao reached real Great Heaven State and went to Luo Yu City to find you, but he couldn't, so he could only go to Siswang. Thinking he was your friend, Siswang gave him a jade slip and told Wu Dao how to check it. However, Wu Dao's talent was very absurd. In just a few decades, he used the cultivation method to write a martial cultivation method. 100 years later, he used it to reach a higher level. Hearing this, Yi Mo quite admired Wu Dao. His talent was terrifying. He wrote his own cultivation method and broke through. Chu Dan continued then, he roamed the world and found that teleportation formation. He knew it was a teleportation formation and then went to Luo Yu to find Siswang. Siswang was the strongest person in Luo Yu City at the time. She was also experienced in formation. She went with Wu Dao to that teleportation formation. The teleportation formation was broken, but Siswang managed to repair it. Yi Mo breathed easy and asked, so you're saying Siswang and them went to the small world? Chu Dan nodded. Not everyone went, only some. Siswang said that the reason the formation was broken was due to using bad quality spirit stones to power it. Siswang also said that it had become a single-direction teleportation formation as the other side didn't have any resonance. This means that there's always people using that teleportation formation? Yi Mo asked, and then before Chu Dan answered he said, I understand. He realized. It was Yun Zi's Magical Continent Merchant Association that used it frequently. Her father Yun Dongxia used low-grade spirit stones to power the teleportation formation. He didn't expect Ning Sishuang's formation talent was this powerful. Although the small world was close to Earth, it wasn't easy to repair such formation. Yi Mo sighed. He knew that only some people went as most people were at their age limit. Not everyone could reach Golden Core state. That way, their life would be limited. What do you plan to do? Yi Mo looked at Chu Dan and asked. He didn't understand why she didn't leave with Ning Siswang. Chu Dan looked down and said, after I reached Foundation Establishment, my mindset was completely different to before. When I saw my kins leave me one by one, I felt very bad. I wanted to stay here with them more. Years passed like that. Eventually, I really had no spirit stones left. If I keep staying here, I really might not be able to leave. Then, I went to the teleportation formation. I found that there was more problems with it. I don't understand formation, so I can only stay and study formation. Even now, I have no confidence in leaving, but I know I have to leave. Yi Mo took out a storage ring to Chu Dan and said, there's some spirit stones and immortal crystals as well as pills and cultivation method. Keep it. I'll send you to the small world first. There's a teleportation formation at Xinjiao Mountain that can teleport you to Luo Yu continent. Her immortal crystals. Chu Dan's hands were shaking. She realized that if she still had the same mentality as before, Yi Mo would leave after just a few words. He would definitely not leave a storage ring like this. Yi Mo had immortal crystals. Without a doubt, he was an immortal. Thank you, Brother Yi. Thank you, sister. Chu Dan quickly bowed to Yi Mo and Mu Xiaoyun. Yi Mo waved his hand. I'll send you to the small world, but I need to remind you there's really danger everywhere on Luo Yu continent. You would be ambushed if you're not careful. If you feel cultivation is hard, you can go to Mo Yu City. It's a cultivation city I built. Okay, thank you, Brother Yi. I'll remember that. Chu Dan said. She was shocked that Yi Mo actually built a city in the cultivation realm. How much power would that need? Did he come back to the cultivation realm after ascending? From what she learned from Ning Siswang, immortals who ascended can never come back to the cultivation realm due to world laws. World law suppression? She looked at Yi Mo in shock. How come he looked completely fine? The realm here was lower than the cultivation realm, the suppression should be greater. What's wrong? Yimo asked, seeing Chu Dan looking at him in shock. Chu Dan quickly said nothing. Moments later, she couldn't resist asking Brother Yi, I heard immortals would be suppressed by world laws when they came back to the cultivation realm. Since Brother Yi has immortal crystals, you're clearly, then how? Yimo smiled, you're right, but once your cultivation level reaches a certain level, this suppression is nothing. Yimo was Dao actualization peak stage peak. In a place like Earth, he has fused as one with the world. How could he be scared of law suppression? However, Mu Xiaoyun needed to stay by Yimo. Yimo's Dao waves would protect her. Otherwise, Mu Xiaoyun wouldn't be able to stay here. She would break the world laws. So that's it, I understand. Chu Dan sighed but didn't dare to ask Yimo's cultivation level. Seeing Chu Dan not ask any more questions, Yimo said, when do you leave here? I can leave now. Chu Dan answered. Good. Yimo grabbed and a dark crevice appeared before Chu Dan. Chu Dan immediately called out in shock, this is tearing open the void. Yimo didn't answer and grabbed her with God Essence giant hand and sent her into the crevice while saying, I'm sending you to Xinjiao Mountain. When you land, you can use spirit stones to activate the teleportation formation to Luoyu continent. Yimo's voice disappeared while Chu Dan appeared at the outskirts of a mountain range. When she saw the words Xinjiao Mountain, the crack in the space disappeared. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2194 Must Not Lose Oneself. Chapter 2194 Must Not Lose Oneself. Yimo wanted to take Mu Xiaoyun to Luoyu City, but suddenly, he felt something and swiped in the void. An old-looking daoist appeared before Yimo and Mu Xiaoyun. He carried a simple bamboo backpack. Yimo didn't feel it was strange to see Tianzi here. Many confusions became clear with the appearance of him here. He was certain he had seen Tianzi at Luoyu continent before. Mu Xiaoyun called out in shock, Tianzi master, this old Taoist had been to her house and told her fortune. Haha, last time I said your luck was quite good. It had only been a few years and you're already immortal friends. Not bad, not bad. Tianzi laughed. Mu Xiaoyun quickly bowed, thank you for telling my fortune, Qian Bei. WN Bei still has something to ask Qian Bei. Did Qian Bei know that WN Bei's husband will be husband, or did you predict that my husband's surname would be Yi? Tianzi clearly knew what she meant and laughed, your husband is Yimo, not that Yi Hushan. You're quite nourishing of your husband. Your husband got quite a lot of benefits due to you. Please visit on our list novel. Hearing this, Yimo thought. Mu Xiaoyun was pure wood spirit root. Was it not purely due to the golden page world that the bitter bamboo and yellow middle plum recognized him as master? Was it also due to Mu Xiaoyun? Thank you, Qian Bei. Mu Xiaoyun said. Yimo also guessed that the stone stool was purposely left to him by Tianzi. He thought of the words Tianzi said the first time he spoke with him, other than Chaos World, there's actually a fortune I couldn't tell. Impossible. Then, Tianzi left, meaning that he knew he had Chaos World. He didn't even take the stone stool, clearly not because he forgot about it but because he left it for him. A powerful being like him didn't rob his Chaos World and instead left the 5-element stool to him. One could see that Master Tianzi is definitely deserving of respect. Thank you for telling my fortune too. Yimo bowed and thanked. Yimo was confused that he still couldn't see through Master Tianzi's cultivation level. It was just like before. Tianzi seemed like an ordinary man. Tianzi nodded, you didn't disappoint me. I believe you repaired the passage from the immortal realm to the divine Dao realm, right? To be able to do that, it means your cultivation level is at least about Dao molding divine emperor. Wan Bei is just one step from Dao essence. Tianzi Qian Bei, how come I can't see your cultivation level? Yimo asked. Tianzi said casually, I have no Dao foundation. In some years, I will be returning to dust. This world is yours. My only hope is that someone can repair the divine Dao realm and rebuild the glory of the human race. You're the person with the most absurd fortune I've seen. Perhaps one day you can repair divine Tao realm and lead the human race to glory. Qian Bei, WN Bei has chaos. Yimo wanted Tian Ziyi to enter his chaos world and take him from Earth. However, Tian Ziyi interrupted. This place is very nice. I often go out to tell fortunes. It's enough to feed me. Don't waste what I gave you and don't waste what you already have. No matter what cultivation level you reach, you can be prideful but you must not lose yourself. Yes, WN Bei will remember this. Yimo said. Master Tianzi laughed and said, don't ask about my past and don't worry about my future. The future is yours. I'm going. If one day you perfect the divine Tao broken realm and I'm still alive, perhaps you can see me again. Tianzi said and disappeared from Yimo. He never asked Yimo for a Tao fruit nor crystal. Yimo wanted to give him but Tianzi stopped him before he could even say it. Yimo didn't use spirit sense to check where Tianzi left. He only had respect for Tianzi. Mu Xiaoyun and him looked at the direction Tianzi disappeared and stood for a day before leaving. Luoyu City was still the same but more prosperous than before. Luoyu Lake was still the same but it was covered by formation. Tourists could only tour on the outside. Yimo took Mu Xiaoyun past the formation and came inside. Husband, I see your room. There's a jade slip and storage ring inside. Mu Xiaoyun's spirit sense scanned in immediately. Yimo saw his room too. Yimo picked up the jade slip and looked in. Brother-in-law, I'm Sis Huang. I was able to wait till you came so we're going to Luoyu continent. There's Auntie Mu and Uncle Guoqi, Uncle Li Sandao, Ning Feifei and Wu Dao Qianbei. My parents have passed away. Tang Qianping, Huang Yinian City Lord, Lu Lin Auntie, Uncle Fang Wei, Yu Miaodan, Shen Qianqian and Uncle Shishio had all passed away. I don't know if brother-in-law can see this jade slip. I know those uncles and aunties are brother-in-law's best friends. Brother-in-law would be very sad to see this jade slip. Death is inevitable in life. This is the natural law. Don't be too sad, brother-in-law. Yimo rubbed his wet eyes. How could he not understand this logic? Those people were his right arms. They sweated for the construction of Luoyu but now, only he was left. Mu Xiaoyun's spirit sense scanned in. She felt Yimo's sadness and held his hands. Husband, we'll go to their graves and see. Yimo's spirit sense scanned to a public graveyard next to Luoyu Lake. There was formation protecting it but it was built to be very pretty and grand. Brother-in-law, inside the storage ring are things Dad and Mum left for my sister. A part of it is what Auntie Tang Qianping left for Sister Wanqing. We left from the teleportation formation in my NEI snow mountains. Don't worry about us. We'll soon be able to find brother-in-law and sister. By the way, not long after you came back last time, a woman called when dawn came and brought some things to brother-in-law. I was scared it would be lost so I kept it with me. When I see brother-in-law I will give it to you. There's also another woman called Ning. She lives in Luoyu City and she came to find brother-in-law. Hearing that you weren't here, she said if brother-in-law sees her little sister Njichi, please look after her. Yimo was lost in thought. He seemed to see when Dong wearing shades. At the same time, Ning and Njichi floated before his eyes as well as Shishio whom he got along with the most and his brother Yixing who was nowhere to be seen. After a few hundred years, these scenes cleared up before him. Yimo sighed. He felt he was too careless. Last time when he came back and didn't find Wendong, he really thought she didn't exist. Putting these away, Yimo took Mu Xiaoyun to the graveyard and took out some immortal flowers and bowed. Those were his kin, friends, and brothers. Even though he was a Tao Vindication Divine Emperor, there were still many things he couldn't control. Husband, Mu Xiaoyun called worriedly. Yimo came back to his senses and held Mu Xiaoyun's hands and said softly, let's go. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2195 Go Down to the Abyss, Find. Chapter 2195 Go Down to the Abyss, Find in the small world, outside the Liangji Valley, Mu Xiaoyun pointed husband, I was taken by Elder Feng from here. Yimo cursed I should have checked nearby. Mu Xiaoyun said softly husband couldn't do that before. Your spirit sense wasn't that strong before. Let's go visit Ice Lake. Yimo thought about the tablet Xiaoyun left at the ice lake and sighed. Mu Xiaoyun shook her head I don't want to go back. Let's go to Luoyu continent, do we teleport over? Yes, my spirit sense can't cross the void realm of the cultivation realm but we can use Xinjiao mountain to teleport to Luoyu continent. 5 minutes later, Yimo stood on the teleportation formation at Xinjiao mountain. Mu Xiaoyun stayed in the Golden Page world. The teleportation formation had been protected by constructions. However, the spirit Kai here had been used up. Without top-grade spirit stones, the teleportation formation wouldn't be able to be used. Yimo glanced at the formation and knew that the recent uses were probably by Ning Sishuang and Chu Dan. Yimo put down a few spirit stones and a light barrier activated from the teleportation formation sweeping Yimo away. Yimo's spirit sense could clearly feel the space changing. He could even leave the teleportation whenever he wanted without being affected. This is Shadow Swamp Valley, this isn't Luoyu continent. A faint bleak Kai came over and Yimo immediately knew this was Xinqiang continent. The two continents were very close. It was no problem for Yimo to get over there. Yimo's spirit sense scanned to Lotus Glory sect Guangjie. He also saw how Qiangying and Yu Heri. Even Liu Zhai was body condensation state cultivator. Guangjie was truth realization state peak stage. She could ascend to the immortal realm at any time. Yimo was very happy. Since he was here, he planned to take Mu Xiaoyun to Lotus Glory sect to see. At this moment, his spirit sense broke open the realm of the Shadow Swamp Valley. Abyssal realm? In this dark and grey world, there was just dull grey sand. Yimo was very excited. If Kai Wanqing entered the Abyssal realm, she would have definitely entered from here. Going to find Kai Wanqing's soul from here was much more reliable than the jade slip Cao Ziyi gave him. Yimo no longer had the mood to go Lotus Glory sect. He took out a formation disc and a storage ring and crossed countless space and placed it before Guangjie. He left a last word before tearing open the world to Abyssal realm. Ever since Yimo came to Xinqiang continent, the Lotus Glory sect was at its prime. It had become the #1 sect of Xinqiang continent. Guangjie was very happy with the current Lotus Glory sect. She could ascend to the immortal realm. Due to Yimo's relationship, she became the dominating truth realization state elder of the sect. She was having a sect meeting right now. There was only truth realization states present. At this moment, a Essence Kai giant hand suddenly appeared in the palace. This shocked everyone and they all wanted to get up. Wait. Guangjie felt a sense of familiarity. She knew this Essence Kai giant hand belonged to Yimo. She quickly got up and said. A formation disc and storage ring was placed before Guangjie while Yimo's voice sounded I don't have time to come to Lotus Glory sect. This formation disc will be Lotus Glory sect's sect protection formation disc. The things inside the storage ring are payback for Xiaoyun's cultivation resource. Xiaoyun is with me now. We don't have time to come back. I'll say hello to everyone for Xiaoyun. Liu Zhai is Wanqing's friend, please take care of her elder Guangjie. At the same time, congratulations on your impending ascension to the immortal realm. I have a sect in Gonghua heaven called Moyu Immortal Sect. If Guangjie can't find a sect, you can go to my sect first. Then, Yimo's voice faded away. It's Yi Qianbei, Yi Qianbei. Yimo's voice sounded and almost all the truth realization states got up in surprise and joy. They all bowed towards the storage ring and formation disc left by Yimo. Guangjie couldn't control her excitement. She didn't expect to finally hear Yimo's voice before she ascended to the immortal realm. Although Yimo didn't come personally, his voice came. The dark grey sand extended out from his feet. It was extremely messy and boundless. Even with Yimo's powerful spirit sense, he couldn't see an end. Some low-level souls felt Yimo's spirit sense and hid on the side timidly. A powerful suppression came. Yimo could feel his cultivation level seep away rapidly. It not only suppressed his cultivation level, but the law was so powerful that he would be pushed away if he wasn't careful. Yimo was certain even half primordial essence wouldn't be able to stay here. He used his body as the Tao foundation to fuse with chaos and vindicate the chaos Tao. Yet, even such a powerful Tao almost made him unable to stay. Yimo desperately used 3 birth chant. Even the chaos tree helped Yimo fuse with the world law here. Soon, Yimo felt his cultivation level stabilize before regaining his lost cultivation level. The world laws he didn't know before were gradually felt by him. Yimo breathed easy and took out the map Cao Zi gave him. He found there was nothing similar to here on the map. Yimo wasn't too disappointed. He didn't rely on Cao Zi at all. Perhaps this guy just wanted to kill him. How could he give the complete abyssal realm map to him? Yimo's spirit sense expanded out. Yimo believed that if he came in contact with Wanqing's soul, the familiarity would allow him to recognize her immediately. Yimo's spirit sense scanned a radius for a few million kms but still found no trace of her soul. Yimo's spirit sense could reach further, but he didn't do this. That might make him miss important information. If he wasn't too careless when he went back to Earth, he wouldn't have not found Wendong. Yimo kept going forward. A few days later, Yimo stopped at a dark desert. This desert was boundless too and filled with numb souls. Some were even starting to cripple. Yimo realized that even if souls went into the abyssal realm, they might cripple. Yimo felt melancholic. Wanqing was only golden core state when she died. How could a golden core state soul last a few hundred years here? A dark-robed cultivator suddenly appeared in one corner of the desert. Yimo had never seen beings with bodies. He had only seen souls in the abyssal realm, but this cultivator had a complete body. Yimo immediately could tell this cultivator cultivated yin cultivation method and he was truth realization state. Yimo crossed tens of thousands of kilometers with one step and came before this black-robed cultivator. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2196 World Mountain. Chapter 2196 World Mountain. This dark-robed cultivator wore dark cultivator robes and was circulated with dark Kai. However, the difference between their power was too great. When Yimo stopped in front of him, he suddenly realized that there was someone in front of him. Qian Bei, this black-robed cultivator said shakily. Even though Yimo didn't exert any pressure, he could feel Yimo was countless times stronger than him. Where did you come from? What are you doing here? Yimo asked. His spirit sense saw that the black-robed cultivator's bag, it was filled with all sorts of souls. Some of them were rather condensed and conscious. Not all souls that were here had no conscious. Many souls wanted to use the abyssal realm to enter their next life, so they came here. This cultivator just collected conscious souls clearly so he could turn them into soul artifacts. Yimo detested such cultivator the most. If it wasn't that he wanted to ask this guy a few questions, he would have thrown a fireball already. WN Bei comes from the abyssal realm. I'm here to collect some souls for cultivation. The black-robed cultivator answered respectfully. Yimo frowned. This place isn't the abyssal realm? The man quickly answered, this is the nether realm. People outside often confuse the abyssal realm with the nether realm. There's such difference. What's the difference? Yimo immediately realized that Cao Zi didn't tell him the truth. The man took out a jade slip and marked some things and gave it to Yimo. How do you use souls to cultivate? Yimo glanced at his soul bag. My cultivation method requires to boil souls to soul liquid and use this liquid to cultivate. The cultivator said as if this was the most natural thing in the world. Yimo immediately thought of Kai Wanqing's soul. This person used souls to cultivate. How many souls would he be killing every day? Who knew if he killed the soul of someone he knew? Feeling Yimo's killing intent rise, the black-robed cultivator turned to run immediately. Before he even left 3 meters, he saw a fireball fly over. He couldn't resist this fireball at all. Then, Yimo's spirit sense fell on this jade slip. Moments later, Yimo had an understanding of the abyssal and nether realm. Netherrealm was the place for rebirth into the next life. The abyssal race was a race like the human race or beast race. Many souls would be swept into the nether realm, or they would come here on their own accord. At the nether realm, they would need to go to the samsara bridge if they wanted to reincarnate. Some cultivators with stronger souls and cultivate to strengthen their soul and cultivate an abyssal body and enter the abyssal realm, becoming a member of the abyssal race. There were countless souls in the nether. Some were cultivating, some roamed around seeking fortunes, but it was the minority that could cultivate an abyssal body and enter the abyssal realm. Most headed to the samsara bridge. Emo didn't hesitate. If Kai Wanqing wanted to reincarnate, she would definitely head to the samsara bridge. She would definitely not cultivate abyssal cultivation method. Emo immediately wanted to go to the bridge, but then he realized he didn't know where it was. Emo waved and tens of souls appeared before him. Which of you know where the samsara bridge is? Emo sent his will. A condensed soul carefully sent a message: the samsara bridge is everywhere. What did this mean? The soul seemed to know Yemo's power and answered without Yemo asking. Any soul that enters the netherrealm will be able to see the samsara bridge when they want to reincarnate. Then, they only have to walk that way. Some people would walk there in a few steps, while some would take a few thousand years. Yemo realized what this was. This was space law that joined with the consciousness of countless souls. When a soul wanted to reincarnate, the space law would appear before them. What seemed like a few steps would help them cross countless distance. Yemo's spirit sense asked another question: I want to go to the samsara bridge, but I can't see it. How do I go over? All the souls fell silent. None of them knew how Yemo could go. An extremely faint soul suddenly sent a message: I don't want to keep staying here. I want to go reincarnate. Qian Bei, if you can see my body, then come with me. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you. The soul said, and its figure became even dimmer. Yemo's spirit sense followed this soul closely. A subtle bridge appeared in Yemo's spirit sense. Yemo almost called out in shock. Wasn't this the life-crippling bridge he saw at the God Necropolis domain? How did it appear here? But then, Yemo realized, this wasn't the life-crippling bridge. They did look very similar, but they weren't the same. Yemo's figure flashed and disappeared from his spot. Tens of days later, a dark figure suddenly appeared in Yemo's spirit sense. Yemo just watched that soul a bit, and then the soul he was following disappeared. The samsara bridge was gone too. Yemo wasn't annoyed. He knew the approximate location of the samsara bridge. He just needed to head along that direction and he would be able to find it. Plus, he was countless times faster than that soul. Yemo watched this shadow more. He felt this shadow was familiar. Yemo sped up towards that huge black shadow. In less than 15 minutes, Yemo appeared at the black shadow. It was an extremely huge mountain. Yemo couldn't even see where the border of this mountain was. Yemo was confused. How could he feel familiarity to a mountain? He walked a few more steps and came to the foot of the mountain. He formed his God Essence giant hand and wanted to break a piece off the mountain. But when his hand touched the mountain, Yemo's face changed into extreme joy. This was World Mountain. This definitely was the World Mountain. Yemo knew this World Mountain definitely wasn't the World Mountain he saw at the Truthful Palace. This World Mountain was countless times bigger than the one in the cultivation realm. Their structure was completely different too. This was probably the real World Mountain. Yemo landed on the mountain excitedly. He had decided to take this away and forge it into the divine Tao realm meridian. Yemo believed with his Tao actualization peak stage power, it would be fine to use formation to take it into his golden page world. When Yemo started to spirit control this World Mountain, he realized how naive he was. 10 days later, Yemo realized that even if he spent a few million years, he wouldn't be able to spirit control one bit of the World Mountain nor use formation to take it away. The World Mountain's laws were incomplete and it couldn't be spirit controlled. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2197 Samsara Dao. Chapter 2197 Samsara Dao. Yi Mo stood on the top of the world mountain and circulated half of it. When he saw a huge ditch at the waist of the mountain, he instantly realized. This was the world mountain, but because a piece of it was dug away, its laws weren't complete. If he wanted to spirit control this world mountain, he would have to find the piece that was dug away. Not a piece of it can be missing. How could Yi Mo not realize that the black world mountain he saw in the Truthful Palace was the piece missing? He would have to find that missing piece, but the world mountain flew away. Where would he find that? Who dug a piece of the world mountain away? The guy who dug the piece away definitely wasn't able to take away the world mountain, so he dug a piece in his fury. But even so, that person wasn't simple. The bigger the world mountain was, the tougher it was. This was the original body of the world mountain. Even if he dug with full force, he might not be able to dig a piece away. Yi Mo looked at this world mountain reluctantly and could only leave a spirit sense mark here. When he found the missing piece, he would come back and spirit control it. At this moment, countless souls gathered before the Samsara bridge. They didn't go into the bridge not because they didn't want to, but because they had to pay a few abyssal crystals to get on. Read more new novels on List Novel. Abyssal crystal was the cultivation resource for souls. In the abyssal realm, there pretty much was no spirit items. Souls would have to rely on abyssal crystals to cultivate. Those who didn't have abyssal crystals would have to go search the vast abyssal realm. As time went on, those souls would gradually lose their consciousness and dissipate from the abyssal realm. At the same time, even powerful souls would experience danger collecting abyssal crystals. Sometimes, many conscious souls would rush up together. No matter how powerful you were, you would be torn apart. When souls had a certain level of power, they would be killed by the samsara law of the Samsara bridge if they kept staying here. The most dangerous thing about the Samsara bridge was that every once in a while, if you were close to the bridge, you would be swept on regardless if you want to reincarnate or not. So, collecting abyssal crystals before the bridge didn't happen all the time. Only souls with great power but no abyssal crystals to cultivate had to resort to this method. Now, there was such a soul before the Samsara bridge. Yi Mo didn't release Spacetime Boat, but he sped up towards the Samsara bridge. With his current power, he didn't need Spacetime Boat anymore. At the start, Yi Mo needed to mind his direction, but later on, he didn't need to as he sensed a powerful Dao Wave Kai. It was a domain he had never touched before. He even had the feeling that once he learned this Dao Wave Kai, he would reach Dao Essence Divine Emperor. As Yi Mo got closer to that vast Dao Wave Kai, he felt even greater pushing power. Yi Mo used 3-birth chant like crazy as he walked over. His will was completely captivated by this Dao Wave Kai. He even forgot to check for Kai Wanqing's soul. This Dao Wave he had never seen before made him eager to learn. A long bridge appeared shrouded in grey mist in Yi Mo's sea of consciousness. As soon as this bridge appeared, Yi Mo felt it was very long, but when he looked again, it seemed very short. Regardless, Yi Mo couldn't see the other side. He could only feel an extremely powerful Kai circulating the side of bridge. The closer Yi Mo was to the bridge, the clearer it was. This was Samsara Kai. It flowed like a giant river underneath the bridge, wave after wave, as though never ending. The instant Yi Mo stepped foot on this bridge, he was completely lost. The Samsara Kai brushed past him, surrounding him as though wanting to bring him along the bridge. The bridge expanded in Yi Mo's consciousness and then suddenly became narrow. Yi Mo found he became a small boat that rocked in the tidal wave like Samsara Kai. One mistake and his boat would tip. Yi Mo stood at the head of the Samsara bridge. The countless souls next to the bridge were pushed back by this powerful Kai. They all looked at Yi Mo in shock. The Samsara Kai before the bridge was terrifying to a new extreme. Other than souls that were about to reincarnate, no one could come close. Even abyssal bodies couldn't get close to the bridge. This had nothing to do with power. This was the suppression of Samsara Kai, yet now, they saw a human step foot on the bridge, letting the vast Samsara Kai brush past him. How was there such terrifying person? Powerful and weak souls all stopped staring at Yi Mo. In a corner, a weak soul squirmed at one corner. She didn't know how long she had been here for. When she came here, her soul was already about to cripple. If she searched for abyssal crystal, she would have no chance of reincarnation. She was waiting for an opportunity here, waiting for the samsara kai to sweep over or the soul collecting abyssal crystals to leave. But she had waited for a few hundred years and her soul was about to cripple, yet she still didn't get what she wanted. Every moment, she thought about her past life. That was the only thing she could do. She felt lucky she reached golden core state, or she might not be able to retain any memories in here. When Yimo walked on the bridge, she was shocked just like the rest of the souls, clearly not expecting a human to be able to walk here without being suppressed by samsara. When she saw the person's looks, she was dumbfounded. If she had a body, she would have ran into Yimo's arms telling him how hard life had been for her. If she could tear, her tears would have become a river. If she could speak, she would want to yell out Yimo_'s name saying she was here, she was Kaiwanching. But she could only shake as she watched Yimo, hoping Yimo would recognize her. She really wanted to stop herself from shaking, but she couldn't. The more she shook, the quicker her soul would dissipate. She couldn't even move. Powerful samsara Dao wave washed Yimo's consciousness. Yimo suddenly wanted to follow it and jump down the samsara bridge. He felt it was really hard to stay on the bridge and jumping down would make things very easy. At this moment, the chaos tree sent some life Dao wave, waking Yimo up instantly. He realized what he was doing. He was learning samsara Dao. As he felt the waves of samsara Dao, Yimo felt his Dao increase higher and higher. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2198 Number 1 God are. Chapter 2198 Number 1 God are 20 billion God crystals and 3 extreme grade God spirit range were thrown out by Yimo. He even grabbed some of the chaos kai he collected. Powerful samsara Dao wave washed Yimo_'s body, fusing with his original Dao wave. He started to perfect his Dao. The Dao waves slowly connected with the golden page world. The golden page world seemed to be changing. The change wasn't obvious, but it gave people a feeling of samsara. These God crystals and God spirit range turned into tidal waves of God spirit kai that was devoured whole by Yimo. Yimo grabbed 10 yellow middle plums and used them. The samsara kai grew vast and grand, from river to oceans. Yimo's cultivation level kept rising. Rumble. Yimo's sea of consciousness and body made a unanimous sound. The extremely clear samsara Dao was imprinted in his Dao. Yimo suddenly waved his hand and tens of samsara Dao kai was grabbed in his hand. He took another step forward. When his 2 feet landed on the bridge, golden purple Dao wave rose up around him. The countless God crystals and God spirit ranges turned into pure white God spirit kai that dashed inside his Dao waves before disappearing. The world laws and Dao laws in the yellow middle plum fused with his Dao and became inseparable. Crack. After unknown amount of time, the samsara kai before Yimo started to dim, or perhaps the kai had fused with him. It had become tame. The God crystals, God spirit range, chaos kai, and yellow middle plum all turned to dust. So powerful feeling. Yimo checked his cultivation level in shock, Dao essence tertiary stage. He didn't expect the nether realm would give him such huge fortune, allowing him to reach Dao essence. He skipped Dao essence primary stage and middle stage and reached tertiary stage. Was this the power of Dao essence? Yimo felt his power. He was joyful and shocked at the same time. With his current power, he could instant kill the rest of the Dao essence divine emperors. Even if that half primordial essence came, Yimo could easily kill him. Yimo suddenly thought of that monk. He was beaten out of a barren planet. Was he a primordial essence divine emperor? How would he do against that monk? He didn't know, as he had fought the monk yet. Perhaps he wasn't as strong as the monk, but once he spirit controlled all 7 golden arrow of divine extermination and upgrade the rest of his god arts, he might not necessarily lose to that monk. Yimo looked at the samsara bridge. He didn't continue forward. He came to find Kaiwanching, who knew what would happen if he crossed the bridge. Yimo turned around and was going to leave, but what shocked him was that the path behind him had disappeared. Yimo didn't worry. He waved out invisible Kai. It was his samsara Dao Kai. Then, that disappeared entrance showed itself again. Yimo then closed his eyes and didn't leave the bridge immediately. A few seconds later, Yimo pushed out with his hand. The time in the space before him didn't stop. It slowly flowed backwards. The backflow of time was very brief, just 1 second, but it seemed to have moved the entire world. Samsara, Yimo murmured. He was fusing the samsara Kai into his instant second god art, forming a new god art, samsara. His samsara god art only had 1 second, but in the future when he reached primordial essence, it won't just be 1 second. It will be 10 seconds, hundreds of seconds, or even countless years. Such powerful god art, such powerful law. Samsara god art originated from time law, but this god art had surpassed time law. It was at this new terrifying degree. Yimo believed that one day when his samsara god art was perfected, it would surpass the great primordial god rune and become the #1 terrifying god art. It can instantly let one go into samsara or turn them into nothing. But Yimo didn't rejoice. He was full of worry. Who was certain that he was the only one here? Who knew if other people learned samsara god art? What if he faced someone who also knew it? Yimo shook. He would rather face a few primordial essence divine emperor than face a powerful being who knew samsara god art. Yimo breathed and walked out of the samsara bridge. The souls at the side of the bridge were completely dazed. The reason samsara bridge was called samsara bridge meant that once you went on you could never return. Yet this person went on the samsara bridge and came back. Yimo looked around at the souls and didn't care. But Yimo's spirit sense didn't scan casually. He still wanted to see if Kai Wanqing was here. In just a few seconds, Yimo felt an extremely familiar Kai. A shaky soul appeared in his spirit sense. The soul was shaking and its dim body seemed about to collapse at any time. Kai Wanqing, that's right. It was Kai Wanqing's soul. Yimo even felt his breathing pause. He didn't have much hope finding her here, but he really found her. Yimo felt his footsteps were extremely heavy. He couldn't even move. Kai Wanqing seemed to have felt Yimo's spirit sense. She was still shaking uncontrollably as her soul was getting weaker and fainter. Yimo, did he see me? Did he see me? What should I do? What should I do? Yimo only dazed for 1 second and dashed up to Kai Wanqing. At the same time, he turned a heaven heart return soul pill into mist and wrapped it around Kai Wanqing. Kai Wanqing's soul instantly condensed and grew even stronger. Kai Wanqing sent a shaky message, Brother Yi, did you come to find me? Yimo still felt his hands were heavy. He was a Dao Essence Divine Emperor, a Dao Essence Tertiary stage, and yet his hands were heavy. One could see how excited he was. Yes, Wanqing, sorry. I thought you were gone, but the heavens pitied me and allowed me to see you again before the samsara bridge. You don't need to worry anymore, come back with me. This nether realm isn't a place you should be in. Yimo said softly. He felt extremely guilty to Kai Wanqing. Her mother wanted to see her one last time but still passed away at Luoyu City. If he didn't save Kai Wanqing, there would be this mark in his heart. Kai Wanqing was just shaking and couldn't express anything. She wanted to cry but she had no tears as she was just a soul. She wanted to thank that soul taxing at the bridge. If it wasn't for him, she might never be able to see Yimo. Yimo knew her soul was still very brittle, and if she was too agitated, who knew what would happen. Yimo carefully held her soul in his hand and looked around. A bold soul sent Yimo a message because a soul cultivator with abyssal body is taxing abyssal crystals here. Many souls can't go into samsara. Yimo immediately scanned to the soul cultivator. In just a while, he would be able to get abyssal body. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2199 I'm happy I went through hardship. Chapter 2199 I'm happy I went through hardship. Seeing Yimo look over, that soul cultivator immediately shivered. Everyone saw how powerful Yimo was. This was an unimaginable being. Yet, he offended this powerful being. Although without this cultivator, Kai Wanqing would have gone into samsara, but Yimo still grabbed this soul cultivator over. He waved his hand and dissipated the cultivator's partial abyssal body. Then, Yimo threw the cultivator carrot bridge and said, if it wasn't that I was happy seeing Wanqing today, I will annihilate your soul immediately. Piss off to samsara. The soul cultivator didn't dare to argue a thing. He thanked and charged onto the samsara bridge. Go. Yimo looked at the countless souls and said. The rest of the souls quickly charged onto the samsara bridge. In a short while, the area in front of the bridge was empty. Yimo quickly left the samsara bridge and found a desert before dashing inside with the golden page world. Husband, is this Sister Wanqing? Mu Xiaoyun saw Yimo come in with the soul in his hand. Boss, it's a soul in your hand, Small Ginseng asked. Yimo nodded. Yes, wait outside for me, I'm going to save Wanqing first. Kai Wanqing's soul became more and more condensed after she was nourished by the Heaven Heart Return soul pill. Yimo took her into the prettiest palace in the entire golden page world as fast as possible. Read latest chapters at Wuxia World. Kai Wanqing's body was laying in her bedroom in the palace. A branch of chaos tree was placed next to her that preserved the life force of her body. Kai Wanqing's soul woke up and looked at the body in the room in shock. How could she not know that was her body? Yimo not only took her soul back from the nether realm but also found her body. At this moment, Kai Wanqing suddenly felt that all that she had experienced didn't matter. At least Yimo remembered her and went into the nether realm just for her. Wanqing, don't talk. Your soul has left your body for a long time. It's not used to your soul, but don't worry, I have a lot of treasures. Just fuse into your body and leave the rest to me. Yimo said. Kai Wanqing's soul slowly entered her body. The chaos tree branch mit life force, and without Yimo needing to intervene, it instantly helped Kai Wanqing fuse into her body. Even so, Yimo didn't feel safe. He turned another Heaven Heart Soul Return pill into mist and fused it into Kai Wanqing's body. At the same time, Yimo put a soul-nourishing Dao fruit in her mouth. Her soul began to fuse and the Dao fruit emitted juice nourishing her meridians and essence spirit. In just 2 hours, Kai Wanqing opened her eyes. When she saw Yimo sitting right next to her, she could no longer resist her tears. She couldn't cry before, but now she just wanted to cry her heart out. Kai Wanqing couldn't say a single word now. Perhaps tears was the best language for her now. Yimo sat next to her and waited till she calmed down before saying slowly, Wanqing, stay with us. You don't need to run around anymore. Brother Yi, thank you. You spent so much effort on me. Kai Wanqing said. Not only did he find her body and soul, but she could also feel her life force was much stronger than her prime. Yimo definitely used the best treasure to help her. Yimo knew what she was thinking. Kai Wanqing had been living at the bottom of society on Xinqiang continent. Perhaps in her knowledge a small spirit herb was worth more than her. Wanqing. Yimo grabbed Kai Wanqing's hand and said, compared to living, everything else doesn't matter. I don't have anything good to give you. Do you see this branch? Kai Wanqing had long seen this green branch. She felt very intimate to this branch. It was as though it had accompanied her for countless years. This is my gift to you. You can place this branch in your Dan Tian. Remember, without certain power, don't let people see you have this branch. This is the most precious thing in the entire universe. If people see it, then even primordial essence Divine Emperor would fight over it. Hearing this, Kai Wanqing quickly pushed the branch back into Yimo's hands. Brother Yi, I can't take this. Yimo quickly pushed her hand back. I have a big tree. Your branch was taken from my tree. Nourish it in your Dan Tian. Perhaps it will become your strongest magic artifact in the future, or maybe it would turn into a huge tree like mine. Really, hearing that only she and Yimo had this tree, Kai Wanqing was full of joy. Brother Yi, did you go to the Xinqiang continent just to find me? Kai Wanqing asked and then suddenly thought of Little Wolf. Her eyes went red. Sorry, Brother Yi, the little wolf you gave me is dead. Little Wolf had stayed with her for many years and accompanied her when she was the loneliest. Yimo patted her hand and took out a wooden brush. I brought Little Wolf here too, and the phone number you gave me. Seeing the brush she gave Yimo was still kept by Yimo, Kai Wanqing could no longer resist her tears and started to cry in Yimo's arms. Suddenly, she felt that all the hardship she had gone through was nothing. Yimo pulled Kai Wanqing up. Wanqing, I'll take you to see Xiaoyun and the world we'll be living in. MHM. Kai Wanqing got up and walked out of the room with Yimo. Such a pretty palace, so many flowers. These flowers. Kai Wanqing walked out and found that the flowers were filled with immortal spirit Kai. She just needed to smell it and her cultivation level was loosening. She wanted to sit in the flowers and cultivate. Mu Xiaoyun saw the two come out and came up to greet sister. Wanqing has recovered. Kai Wanqing looked at Mu Xiaoyun for a long time before asking in disbelief, Your goddess Xiaoyun of Lotus Glory Sect. She was the most protected prodigy of the Lotus Glory Sect. Mu Xiaoyun went up and pulled her hand. Sorry, Sister Wanqing, I didn't know you were at Shincheong continent. If I did, perhaps you wouldn't have gone through that many hardships. Kai Wanqing looked at Yimo and suddenly shook her head. Sister Xiaoyun, I'm happy I experienced all those hardship. Without it, I would never be able to understand some things. But now, I know very clearly what I want and what I should do. Mu Xiaoyun actually nodded. You're right. If you don't go through some hardship, you would never know what you want or what you should do. Mu Xiaoyun resonated deeply with Kai Wanqing's words. She had gone through quite some hardships too. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2200 Encountering Primordial Essence Again. Chapter 2200 Encountering Primordial Essence Again. Yimo took out a storage ring and gave it to Kai Wanqing. Wanqing, your cultivation level is a bit behind. Xiaoyun will help you to cultivate in the future. I've already prepared your cultivation method. If you're lacking pills, Yimo suddenly called Small Ginseng. Come over. Small Ginseng ran over and said, Boss, I'm here. Whatever pills Wanqing need for cultivation, you need to give it to her in time. It must be pills without impurity. Yimo said. Before Small Ginseng spoke, Kai Wanqing said, Brother Yi, I feel the spirit Kai here is dense to a new extreme. It's many times better than spirit stones. I don't even need pills to break through. I'll ask Small Ginseng when I need pills. The three chatted. Kai Wanqing had completely recovered, so Yimo didn't keep the news of her mother's death from her. He also gave her what her mother left behind. Although Kai Wanqing knew that after all this time, her parents definitely wouldn't be around, but when she heard the news and got the things, her tears still rained down. A day later, Yimo left the Golden Page world. Kai Wanqing stayed inside the Golden Page world to cultivate with Mu Xiaoyun helping on the side. Yimo was very happy that he didn't have to go to the Abyssal Realm to find Kai Wanqing. He didn't plan to go to the Abyssal Realm anymore despite wanting to kill that bleak cow Ze. Returning to Luoyu continent was the main thing for him. But when Yimo wanted to find a way back, he frowned. He was lost. The Abyssal and Nether Realm were next to each other. There were no powerful beings in the Nether Realm, but powerful beings were everywhere in the Abyssal Realm. Yimo didn't desperately go find a way out. He went back inside the Golden Page world. This time, he was going to completely spirit control the 36 lightning orbs and the 7 golden arrow of divine extermination. He was about to find a way out. If he went into the wrong place and entered the Abyssal Realm, he might encounter Primordial Essence Divine Emperor at any time. Primordial Essence Divine Emperor was third step Dao Vindication. The monk he met before was quite possibly a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Although Yimo believed that if he encountered that monk again, even if he couldn't beat the monk, he wouldn't be killed. But in the depth of his heart, Yimo felt he was a little weaker than the monk. He had to be careful. One small mistake might mean life or death. With the golden arrow of divine extermination, he would be able to protect himself. The golden arrow of divine extermination that he couldn't spirit control for a few years inside the time formation disk was now easily spirit controlled. A year later, Yimo spirit controlled all the restrictions of the bow and arrow as well as the 36 lightning orbs. A few other magic artifacts he didn't often use were completely spirit controlled too, which included the adamantium great vehicle painting and How Heaven drum. Yimo planned to give the 36 lightning orbs to Yimo so Yimo didn't test its power, but when Yimo held the golden bow and arrow of divine extermination, he felt this unprecedented killing intent. Before the 7 arrows even shot out, the destructive killing intent already circulated the arrows. It was like an ancient monstrosity opened its mouth ready to kill. So powerful, Yimo murmured. He didn't know what bones the arrows were made of. It was this terrifying. When he came back into the nether realm, Yimo felt very confident. Even if he faced Abyssal Race Primordial Essence Divine Emperor, he would be able to defend himself. On top of that, his 3rd Great Primordial God Rune had completed and the 4th one was about to come. The Great Primordial God Rune was already grown in his head. As his power grew stronger, the God art would be gradually perfected. Yimo just wanted to test the Great Primordial God Rune and then use Spacetime Boat to find the tear in space when 2 explosions happened at the border of his Sea of Consciousness. The explosion was so scary that even his Sea of Consciousness was rumbling. Space seemed to have collapsed at where the explosion was. The next moment, 2 dashing lights appeared in his Sea of Consciousness. They were extremely fast and in just a few seconds they would be before him. It was 2 people fighting. What people fighting would create such terrifying commotion? When Yimo saw that the one behind was a monk with faint light, Yimo released Spacetime Boat and disappeared from the spot without hesitation. He wouldn't be scared if there was just one Primordial Essence Divine Emperor, but now there was 2. This kid knows how to run. You came to the Nether Realm. Bad luck. Kid, you're dead. This monk saw Yimo and chased without hesitation. The man hunting the monk saw the monk chase Yimo and followed without hesitation. The 3 dashing lights were invisible. People could only feel space itself being sliced open by them. Yimo felt annoyed when the monk chased him again. Was this guy crazy? He didn't break the planet before. The person who broke it was killed by this guy already. Why was he still chasing him? Why was the guy chasing the monk so slow? If the 2 kept fighting, he would be able to get away. Jiao Dan, you bastard. How dare you run towards my abyssal realm? Stop. The man behind was extremely furious. The monk laughed. Green Hat, when did I go to your abyssal realm? I'm chasing this kid, can't you see? He broke my house, making me have no clothes to wear. If I don't kill him, how can I satisfy myself? The Green Hat Primordial Essence Divine Emperor didn't know that the monk really wanted Yimo's Zishu. Even though he was a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor, he had no Primordial Spirit artifact. But wasn't this kid Dao actualization? How come he appears to be Dao Essence Divine Emperor? Regardless, the monk didn't care. More than 10 days later, Yimo still couldn't get away from the monk's spirit sense range. Not only so, the 2 behind were getting closer and closer. He couldn't continue like this. Yimo used a transmission and tore open the space in front of him and went into another realm. He didn't need Zishu to tear open these low realms. Transmission, useless. The monk sneered and didn't use transmission. He came to where Yimo disappeared from in just a few seconds and tore open space. Transmission wasn't very useful at primordial essence level, but this depended on the level of the transmission. Yimo didn't spend much effort on transmission. By the time he finished the transmission, the enemy would have flown over already. Yimo knew this too. His transmission was to tear open space. The Primordial Essence Divine Emperor behind saw both Yimo and the monk tore open space, so he chased without hesitation. Primordial Essence Master's spirit sense could indeed cross these realms. Yimo felt helpless, but he had to keep running just to pull the distance apart. Yimo didn't know how many space he tore open, but the 2 chasing him were getting closer and closer. When Yimo's hands could no longer tear open space and could only use Zishu to hack, he knew there was no point in running. Space that even his hand couldn't tear meant that this was the top realm space. This place was filled with God Spirit Kai. The Kai here was very bleak and mixed with all sorts of Yin Dao laws. This quite possibly was the space of the Abyssal Realm. However, the suppression of the Abyssal Realm was gone with the slight use of 3 birth chant. Little worm, why don't you keep running? Keep running. The monk came to Yimo as soon as Yimo stopped. At the same time, the person behind also came. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2201 Battle Primordial Essence. Chapter 2201 Battle Primordial Essence. Emo noticed the man chasing behind Hand Long Air, but his hair was pale green. His clothes were completely green too. The only different part was his face that was a bit grey. Emo could even feel his anger. Jiao Dan, if you dare to fight in my abyssal realm, I will kill you even if I have to chase you to the end of chaos. The man was furious but suppressed his anger and didn't attack. At this moment, he realized Jiao Dan came for Yemo's purple sword. He could easily tell it was a primordial spirit artifact too. Yemo guessed that his green-haired man was Abyssal Realm's primordial essence Divine Emperor. This Jiao Dan monk did something and got hunted everywhere. Green Hat. When did you see me fight? I just came to ask for a resolution. Yemo almost laughed. This was a good name. The Abyssal Race Divine Emperor's face was green. Jiao Dan didn't attack Yemo immediately and studied Yemo first. Then, he said, "Kid, you pretended to be a Dao actualization before and now you pretend to be a Dao essence. To be able to run using an extreme-grade god artifact for this many days. I believe you're not as simple as a Dao essence Divine Emperor, right? Read more new novels on List Novel. Com." Hearing this, Yemo had an idea. His force rose drastically. His vast Dao wave Kai spread until it was almost primordial essence before stopping. Seeing Yemo's power near primordial essence, the green-haired man looked at Yemo with different light. If Yemo didn't stop on his own accord, they wouldn't be able to catch up. He knew Yemo wasn't simple, but when he saw Yemo's force and Dao Kai, he realized that Yemo wasn't just not simple, he was on par with them. His Kai didn't seem primordial essence Divine Emperor yet, but it was clearly beyond half primordial essence. It was infinitely close to primordial essence Divine Emperor. Feeling Yemo's powerful Kai, Jiao Dan didn't act as casual as before. His face went serious as he said, "You were putting on an act indeed. You can reach primordial essence at any time, yet you're so shameless to the extent that you hid your power to fight a big battle with a half primordial essence. No wonder I wasn't able to catch you, slippery bastard." Jiao Dan said this, but he was quite helpless. He thought, Yemo was almost about to be primordial essence, why even run? If you fought with me, would I chase you for that long? If I knew you were hard to deal with, would I have the time to chase you? Now, he was stopped by this green hat. He knew it wasn't quite possible to get Yemo's sword. Even if Yemo was weaker than him, Yemo would be on par with him due to the purple sword. Yemo ignored the monk and said to the Abyssal Race Primordial Essence Divine Emperor, "This immortal friends, Jiao Dan monk wants to fight with me. I don't want to fight here, but he has to fight with me. There's nothing I can do." Hearing this, Jiao Dan said furiously, "I'm Jiao Dan, not Jiao Dan. Little worm, if you keep calling me Jiao Dan, I'm going to eat you." TL note: Jiao Dan means fried egg. Hearing this, the green-haired primordial essence Divine Emperor's face calmed down instead. He quite liked seeing the monk angry. Jiao Dan waved his hand and 18 Buddhist beads appeared above his head. Immediately, this extremely suppressing world Dao wave appeared. It was as though any realm would be crushed when these Dao waves exploded. Seeing Jiao Dan about to attack, Yemo said to the green-haired man, "Immortal friends, how about we join up and take out this burnt egg? I'll take his 18 Buddhist beads and you can have the rest. What do you think?" The green-haired man's eyes lit up and he said immediately, "Sure." As soon as he said this, a subtle mist tower appeared. He was certain that if he took care, the space here wouldn't crumble too bad. Seeing this, Yemo released Zishu without hesitation. A vast, powerful, lethal force immediately loomed over the world. Jiao Dan's face changed and without hesitation, he tore open space and disappeared. Yemo had a helper now, and after being chased by this monk for so long, how could he let him go? He followed. This green-haired man clearly didn't want to let Jiao Dan go and also chased. The three had about the same speed. Yemo's cultivation level progressed rapidly. He was the slowest before, but later on, he was on the same speed as Jiao Dan. As the three kept tearing open space, Yimo was getting closer and closer to Jiao Dan. His speed was increasing. Running in the space void wasn't like other places. You couldn't shake people off by twisting and turning. The more you turned, the shorter the distance was. The three had come to the void again, and Jiao Dan finally felt Yimo's desperate feeling. Helplessly, he could only stop running. He knew that no matter how he escaped, he couldn't shake Yimo off. He guessed that Yimo didn't truly reach primordial essence, but now that Yimo could catch up to him, he was suspicious of his guess. Could a Tao Essence Divine Emperor really catch up to him? Before reaching primordial essence, it was impossible to use spirit sense to break a realm and know which direction he ran. Yimo's spirit sense at Tao Essence Tertiary stage was incredibly powerful, but it couldn't break open a realm yet. He didn't use spirit sense to follow Jiao Dan, he used the subtle changes in the void to track Jiao Dan. He reached Tao nourishment in the void and had the God Art 1 region. He was very sensitive to changes in the void. There was no way Jiao Dan could escape from him. The green-haired man didn't know this. His spirit sense pierced a realm to track, so he thought Yimo did the same. Due to this, he considered Yimo of his equal level. He knew Yimo was a human, of course. He didn't show it on his face, but he was very shocked that the human race suddenly had this powerful divine emperor. Little worm, just what do you want? 2 against 1, don't you feel ashamed? Jiao Dan said hatefully. The green-haired man sneered. Jiao Dan, you took our abyssal race thing. Spit it all out or I will kill you even if I chase you to death. Jiao Dan threw out a storage ring to the green-haired man. Lend Shuochi, I'll give it back, okay? This kid has a lot of things, we can share it. Seeing the green-haired man take the storage ring, Jiao Dan said to Yimo, kid, it's not 2 against 1 now. It's 1 vs 1. Let me see what power you have. 2 vs 1 against you. You overestimate yourself, Jiao Dan. Yimo said in contempt, and then said to the green-haired man, immortal friend Len. You've already got part of the loot we discussed. I haven't gotten mine. I'll attack first. When this monk tries to run, stop him. Yimo knew things weren't good when the green-haired man took the storage ring. None of these primordial essence divine emperor were trustworthy. They just agreed to join up, but now he was hesitating after just taking a storage ring. So before the green-haired man could change, Yimo said that and used falling mark sword rune with Zishu. A sword rune that completely twisted the void smashed down. This sword rune also sucked out all the life force in this space. Life force and space were completely destroyed and dissipated under this sword rune. Yimo was Tao Essence Tertiary stage and learned Samsara Tao. His sea of consciousness was very condensed. He created falling mark sword rune based on Great Primordial God rune. Now with the help of Zishu, it was subtly stronger than the Great Primordial God rune. Perhaps it was due to his Great Primordial God rune not being perfect that this happened. This sword rune seemed extremely focused, with Yimo expanding his Tao Essence realm domain. He knew Jiao Dan's power, so he used another Spirit Sense God Art, Great Primordial God rune. 2 Spirit Sense Great Primordial God rune attacked at Jiao Dan's Sea of Consciousness. Jiao Dan was shocked by Yimo's extremely vibrant falling mark sword rune, and now that 2 Great Primordial God rune attacked his Sea of Consciousness, how could he not treat Yimo as a primordial essence? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2202 Vindicate Tao through Martial Arts. Chapter 2202 Vindicate Tao through Martial Arts. When Yimo's Great Primordial God rune reached his Sea of Consciousness, his Sea of Consciousness instantly formed waves of cosmic ranges. These cosmic ranges wanting to stop Yimo's 2 Spirit Sense Great Primordial God rune. However, the Great Primordial God rune was too savage. It grinded the mountain ranges one by one. Even Jiao Dan's face changed greatly when he felt the terrifying destructive power of the Great Primordial God rune in his Sea of Consciousness. But there were too many mountain ranges and they were too dense. Yimo's 2 Great Primordial God rune was eventually stopped. Jiao Dan then breathed easy, but he was more careful. Yimo didn't expect this to get to Jiao Dan. If a primordial essence divine emperor was so easily ambushed, he wouldn't deserve to be primordial essence. Jiao Dan couldn't care that much. He forcefully smashed out his 18 Buddhist beads under Yimo's falling mark sword rune and realm domain, forming waves of Buddhist light. The Buddhist light instantly tore open Yimo's falling mark sword rune domain and smashed Yimo's realm domain, cracking. If it wasn't due to the spirit sense attack, Jiao Dan could even counter-attack. Despite this, the Buddhist light stopped the falling mark sword rune. Destructive Kai expanded in the void. These destructive Kai was brought about by Yimo's falling mark sword rune, but under the Buddhist light, it kept breaking and couldn't go into Jiao Dan's Buddhist light realm domain. Read more new novels on List Novel. Seeing Jiao Dan and Yimo in a stalemate, the green-haired man instantly released his mist tower and controlled the nearby void under the tower. Jiao Dan's face changed. The light of the 18 Buddhist beads burst out and smashed the falling mark sword rune away before he turned and disappeared. Just when the green-haired man wanted to run, he felt something wasn't right. This human kid should be chasing first. He was much faster than him when chasing Jiao Dan before. How come this time the kid didn't move? Thinking about this, the abyssal race divine emperor stopped. He found that Yimo didn't intend to chase indeed. Why don't you keep chasing? The green-haired divine emperor asked. Yimo sneered, why would I chase him? I've been played by you and you still want me to help. When did I play you? The green-haired divine emperor's face sunk. Yimo sneered, we agreed that we would take out Jiao Dan. I'll take the 18 Buddhist beads and you take the rest. But after Jiao Dan gave a storage ring to you, you even planned to kill me with him. Do you think I'm an idiot? Did I attack? The green-haired divine emperor was feeling annoyed. How did this kid dare to talk to him like this? Yimo stared at him and said, you didn't attack, but we're all not dumb. You dare to say you didn't plan to do that? If you attacked with me after getting the storage ring, would I doubt you? With your power, you should get ready to stop Jiao Dan from running. If you were prepared, could Jiao Dan get away? Even if he can, he would still get heavily injured. The green-haired divine emperor knew Yimo saw through what he thought and sneered, since you don't want to cooperate, then never mind, goodbye. You want to leave like that? I don't think so. Just when the green-haired divine emperor wanted to go, he saw Yimo stop in front of him. The green-haired divine emperor was so angry he laughed, do you want to fight with me? Your great primordial god rune-derived sword rune might be strong, but I, Len Shirochi, am not scared of you. Yimo said, I didn't say you were scared of me, but just then Jiao Dan gave you a storage ring. If I didn't help chase him, would you be able to get it? I contributed, but you did show any gratitude? The green-haired divine emperor was lost for words. He got back what he wanted, but Yimo got nothing. He was someone who only focused cultivation and wasn't good at arguing. Seeing this, Yimo continued, the god spirit Kai of the abyssal realm is really good. I wonder what that fried egg got in the abyssal realm, but is quite cunning. He left as soon as he got wealthy. Our human race divine Dao realm isn't good enough. Broken terrain everywhere. What do you want? The green-haired divine emperor felt a little scared. If this guy really went around the abyssal realm like Jiao Dan, it wasn't good for the abyssal realm. Yimo was like Jiao Dan, he didn't care. The divine Dao realm was barren, so Yimo wasn't afraid of his revenge. How about share the things around? The green-haired divine emperor yelled, immediately impossible. I'll give you 5 billion god crystals at most. Count that as payment for helping. 10 billion god crystals and we're friends. Next time you teach that fried egg a lesson, I'll help you again. Yimo immediately said. Deal. The green-haired divine emperor said without hesitation and threw a storage ring to Yimo. Seeing the green-haired divine emperor give it out so easily, Yimo immediately knew he was at a loss. There was definitely too many good things in that storage ring, but Yimo didn't want to offend this abyssal realm primordial essence too much, so he laughed and said hospitably, I knew immortal friends Len is a good person. You're welcome to be a guest at my divine Dao broken realm. If I'm free, I'll come with you too. No need. The green-haired divine emperor said, and then tore open space and disappeared. Yimo scanned his spirit sense in the storage ring and said happily, I fled and earned 10 billion god crystals. This is quite a good business. As soon as Yimo finished, he felt something in the golden page world. He immediately went in. Fu Fei, you vindicated Dao? Yi Mo said Fu Fei's Dao waves and it was different to ordinary Dao. Fu Fei quickly waved up to Yi Mo and bowed. Thank you, master. Fu Fei said again, I already consider Qian Bei my master. I've never thought that one day I would be able to vindicate Dao through martial arts. Yi Mo said in shock. Fu Fei, you vindicate Dao through martial arts? No wonder Fu Fei's Dao waves were different. It was martial Dao. Yes, master's wife gave me a yellow middle plum and master helped me edit the cultivation method. You both gave me huge help. Fu Fei said excitedly. Great, it seems the Divine Dao sect will have a martial arts branch. Yi Mo said happily. Fu Fei bowed again and said, Master, my martial arts Dao needs experience. I can't go back to the Divine Dao realm for now. I need to adventure in the void for a while. One day, I will come back to the Divine Dao realm. Hearing this, Yi Mo immediately said, this is the void. Even though you vindicate Dao, you're only Dao molding Divine Emperor. This power is too lacking to be traveling the void. Fu Fei said pridefully, Master, you were only Dao molding Divine Emperor before, but you came to the void too and even headed to the void marketplace. Since I've vindicated Dao through martial arts, I need to learn from Master and train myself in life and death to perfect my martial Dao. Yi Mo didn't continue to persuade him. He thought of Luo Qinghe and Qin Xuanji. Which of them didn't train alone in the void to accomplish things? Thinking about this, Yi Mo gave a storage ring to Fu Fei. Since you want to call me master, there's nothing much I can give you. The cultivation resources in here are yours. Yi Mo thought of something and gave a jade box to Fu Fei. Fu Fei, there's a heaven martial void-breaking fruit. It was given to me by vice sect leader Qin Xuanji. You can have it too. I hope you make good use of it. Heaven martial void-breaking fruit. The only Dao fruit that can help martial cultivators perfect their Dao? Fu Fei asked. That's right. With this perhaps you can vindicate primordial essence martial divine. Yi Mo said. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2203 Dragon Kai Whirlpool. Chapter 2203 Dragon Kai Whirlpool. Fu Fei quickly pushed it back. Master, this is too precious, I can't take it. If it was something ordinary, Fu Fei would take it, but clearly he knew how precious the Dao fruit was. Yi Mo smiled. The value of things depend on the people using it. If it's placed with me, then it's not valuable at all. If you use it, it's extremely beautiful. Since you call me master, I hope you would one day reach primordial essence martial divine and not make the human race lonely. Perhaps one day I won't stay with the human race, but you can stay in the divine Dao realm. Yes, I understand. Fu Fei said without hesitation and took the Dao fruit. Yi Mo gave out his spacetime boat to Fu Fei. Take this too. Then, before Fu Fei could reject, he said, this is something I took from a person called Yang Jiutian. After upgrading it a few times, it has become an extreme grade flying god artifact. It's suitable for you. Yi Mo waved his hand preventing Fu Fei from talking and said, I'm not even scared of primordial essence divine emperor now. I don't need spacetime boat to run. Plus, I need to forge an extreme grade flying god artifact for myself. I don't really like this flying magic artifact. Your cultivation level is too low, don't reject it. Although he knew that Yi Mo was comforting him, Fu Fei still knelt down and took the spacetime boat. He knew that with his cultivation level, having an extreme grade flying god artifact would give him many lives. Read more new novels on List Novel. Eyeing off Fu Fei disappear into the vast void, Yi Mo took out his extreme grade flying immortal artifact Blue Moon. Yi Mo had a few top grade flying god artifact, but he liked Blue Moon the best. With his cultivation level, he didn't need to worry about being hunted in the void. The reason he gave Fu Fei the flying god artifact was one, because he wanted to switch flying magic artifact, but second was that he saw his own persistence on Fu Fei. Standing on the Blue Moon, Yi Mo took out the void location bead Xiao he gave him. The location bead immediately showed a spot. Yi Mo knew this spot was probably Guang Yuan Palace. Yi Mo then took out the void location jade slip that Tang Xiaoyu gave him. He joyfully found that there was an extremely bright mark on it. Yimo believed Tang Xiaoyu wouldn't trick him. In that case, that bright mark was clearly the way to the dragon race. Yimo immediately told small ginseng to get Shadowless and Qiu Rang out. At the same time, Yimo put away Blue Moon and took out a top-grade flying god artifact. Although the dragon race wasn't far, Blue Moon was still too slow. Moments later, Shadowless and Qiu Rang all came to the deck noisily. "Boss, I've been in solitary cultivation for this long and I have no progress. Small Ginseng said we found the dragon race, is that true?" Shadowless was almost drooling as he spoke. "Look at you, Qiu Rang had reached Immortal Monarch but you're still at God Dao. We need to be careful going to the dragon race this time. There's a lot of powerful beings there. We need to be careful." Qiu Rang quickly said the Heaven Pan Dragon Fruit Garden is a bit further away. "If we just be careful, the dragon race won't find it." Shadowless quickly said that's right boss, if we just be careful, no one will notice us. Then, Shadowless said to Small Ginseng, "You're the weakest. Don't come out. You should stay in the Golden Page world. Qiu Rang and I have Dragon Race Kai, it's more suitable for us to go with boss." Shadowless, who called you out just then, "You're ungrateful." Small Ginseng heard this and said. Just when Shadowless still wanted to speak, Yimo said with a headache, "Stop arguing. Once we get to the place, Qiu Rang look for the garden. Then, if it's convenient, everyone go together." Since the boss said this, Shadowless could only shut up. Although it was top-grade flying god artifact, Yimo's cultivation level was many times stronger than before, so it didn't flew much slower than the space-time boat. A few days later, the ship entered a region of space. A boundless atmosphere appeared. Yimo immediately slowed the flying ship. This was in the domain of the dragon race. This was definitely the planet the dragon race was at. Yimo thought, the dragon race had their own land in the immortal realm before, but after the immortal realm broke, they all moved away. Yimo didn't expect them to find here. Yimo didn't think that the dragon race of the immortal realm found this place. It was definitely because the dragons in the immortal realm didn't have a place to stay, so they went back to their ancestral grounds. Yimo knew this was a good place before even going in. Before the divine Dao realm was broken, it was definitely better than here. "Qiu Range, we're at the dragon race realm. Have a look at how we're going to the Heaven Pan Dragon Fruit Garden." Yimo called to Qiu Rang. Qiu Rang stood at the front of the boat excitedly, but after a while of looking, he said sunkenly, "My grandpa told me the Heaven Pan Dragon Fruit Garden was at the intersection of Dragon Kai and Cosmos. There would be Dragon Kai Whirlpool, but I don't see anything." Shadowless laughed. "Qiu Rang, I understand much more. What a pity, you're so useless. If I knew it I can definitely find it." Small Ginseng laughed. "Shadowless, now you know. Go find it, we're waiting for you." Shadowless immediately knew he bluffed too much and glared at Shadowless but couldn't rebut. Yimo didn't think Qiu Rang was wrong. The reason the two couldn't find it was that Qiu Rang's grandpa said the wrong information, but because the two were too weak. However, Yimo's spirit sense was no weaker than Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. In just a short while, Yimo noticed a subtle whirlpool. Kai in the cosmos swirled down the whirlpool and disappeared. "I know where it is. We can't go in like this. You guys go in the Golden Page world first," Yimo said, and sent them as well as the flying ship in before going towards that whirlpool. The closer Yimo got to the whirlpool, the stronger he felt the Kai was. This Kai benefited him greatly. Yimo's spirit sense carefully went into that whirlpool. Soon, he realized that the whirlpool sucked Cosmic Dao Wave Kai and turned it into Dragon Kai. From this, one could see that the Heaven Pan Dragon Fruit Garden was definitely at the end, being nourished by the Dragon Kai. When Yimo's spirit sense reached the bottom of the whirlpool, it was immediately grinded to nothing by a powerful force. No wonder no one comes. Yimo took in a cold breath. This place was subtle indeed, but the deeper you went the stronger it was. If even his spirit sense could be disintegrated, it meant that even if a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor went in, he would be killed. Yimo knew that his cultivation level wasn't on par with Primordial Essence Divine Emperor yet, but his spirit sense was no weaker than Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. This whirlpool also had strong stealth capability. To be able to know this place, Chiu Rang's grandpa must have had high status in the dragon race. Yi Mo was experienced in formation and didn't care. Other primordial essence divine emperor might be scared of this whirlpool, but Yi Mo didn't think that way. He just studied the entrance to this formation and threw out a few formation flags before jumping in. Yi Mo felt the cosmic Kai as he jumped in. Then, waves of dragon Dao waves swept over, wanting to make Yi Mo stop and go into solitary cultivation. Yi Mo knew now wasn't the time. The whirlpool took him deeper and deeper, and the tearing Kai became stronger and stronger. Even with Yi Mo's divine body plus spirit sense realm barrier, his skin was being torn by this whirlpool. You wouldn't even be able to release defense magic artifact here. Plus, Yi Mo didn't want to do that. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2204 Pitiful Dragon Race Fruit Garden. Chapter 2204 Pitiful Dragon Race Fruit Garden. 2 hours later, Yi Mo suddenly stopped. He stood on a huge dragon bone. This bone had been here for countless years, but the terrifying pressure from it still existed. If it was an ordinary Dao actualization or even Dao Essence Divine Emperor standing here, they would be crushed to nothing by the pressure here. Yi Mo breathed easy. He already saw a rippled door behind the dragon bone. The cosmic Kai devoured by the whirlpool was converted to dragon Kai, which then entered this door. Yi Mo immediately knew that the Heaven Pan Dragon Fruit Garden was behind the door. Other than this entrance, there must be another entrance to the garden. Since Shadowless, Chiu Rang and Small Ginseng were too weak, Yi Mo set up a barrier formation before the door, barricading the powerful dragon Kai. Then, he called them out. Enter the rippled door from here. It's definitely the Heaven Pan Dragon Fruit Garden inside, but I need to warn you. Don't get too greedy. When you come out, stay in this formation, don't leave until I come in and take you guys away. Read latest chapters at Wuxia World. EU. Hearing this, the three looked at Yi Mo in shock and asked, Boss, you're not coming in with us? The dragon Kai here is extremely dense and is mixed with a cosmic dragon wave Kai. I need to learn it. If you guys come out and I'm not out yet, wait here for me. Yi Mo answered. Boss, we understand. Shadowless said quickly. Seeing the three dash in the door, Yi Mo went back to the bottle of the dragon Kai whirlpool. In order to prevent his learning being interrupted, Yi Mo threw out all the God Spirit ranges and all his God crystals. He used these things to set up a top spirit gathering formation. He told Mu Xiaoyun that he was going into solitary cultivation. Yi Mo stood on a huge rock above the dragon bones. He let the powerful Kai charge at and tear at his body. Time flew by quickly. Yi Mo didn't even know how long it had been. Powerful dragon Kai was fused into his Dao. The God Spirit range and God Crystals' God Spirit Kai turned into a mist that completely surrounded Yi Mo. Dao waves flowed, but there was no one to be seen. As time went on, the God Spirit range and God Crystals completely disappeared. The mist gradually entered Yi Mo's body. When the God Spirit Kai was completely gone, Yi Mo still stood on the huge rock and didn't move. When the God Spirit Kai was completely gone, Yi Mo still stayed on the huge rock, not moving. Waves of Dragon Kai and Cosmic Kai circulated around his body. Later on, it allowed him to completely fuse into this Kai. Shadowless looked dazedly at the rows of Heaven Pan Dragon fruit trees and the red Heaven Pan Dragon fruits. He drooled and said, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. Chiu Rang was also dazed, but all the Heaven Pan Dragon fruit trees. How long would it take to eat all these fruits? He said before that he would be content with one. Just how many were here? But before he woke up from his beautiful dream, he heard Shadowless say he was going to die. He quickly asked Big Brother Shadowless, what happened to you? Small Ginseng patted Chiu Rang. Ignore this guy, he said he's going to be filled to death. He's just too excited. While the two were still talking, Shadowless already dashed up and swept a few Heaven Pan Dragon fruit into his mouth. Small Ginseng and Chiu Rang both took a Heaven Pan Dragon fruit tree each and picked. The Heaven Pan Dragon fruit was delicious and filled with Dragon Kai. However, Small Ginseng and Chiu Rang were too weak. Small Ginseng only ate one. Chiu Rang just ate too and couldn't stand up from the powerful dragon Kai that could only sit below the tree and refine the dragon Kai. Shadowless ate more than 100 heaven pan dragon fruits and still wasn't finished. The heaven pan dragon fruit wasn't very precious to other people. It was at most an ordinary god spirit fruit. But to the dragon race, the heaven pan dragon fruit wasn't ordinary. It had extremely dense dragon Kai. Those who could devour this dragon Kai could even use the fruit to vindicate Tao. Those who could do this were all dragon race members who could devour large amounts of this fruit. There was no way ordinary dragon race could vindicate Tao with 1 or 2 heaven pan dragon fruits. The heaven pan dragon fruit could help people reach immortal friends. It could also help the dragon race make the best dragon race wine. Pan dragon wine is more precious. Shadowless switched to another tree and kept devouring heaven pan dragon fruits. He had devoured nearly 1,000 heaven pan dragon fruits. The powerful dragon Kai rumbled around in his body but were instantly devoured. With such large dragon Kai, even Shadowless couldn't keep moving. Shadowless could only feel his Tao wave keep rising and rising. The barrier between immortal Tao and god Tao were instantly cracked open. Shadowless felt a powerful dragon Kai and devour law being devoured by him. He was overjoyed. But when he saw that as soon as the barrier was opened, the dragon Kai he devoured wasn't enough, he cursed. Heaven pan dragon fruit wasn't enough for him to reach god Tao. This wasn't a problem of numbers. Usually, Shadowless would keep devouring heaven pan dragon fruit, but he knew that in the garden there was heavenly fruit. This was more precious. There was only 3 every 10,000 years. It was better than ordinary Tao fruits. Thinking about this, Shadowless couldn't care about Chiu Rang and small ginseng. He dashed deeper in the garden to find the heavenly fruit tree. The garden was filled with red. It didn't take Shadowless long to find a blue fruit tree. This tree was many times bigger than the heaven pan dragon fruit tree. There were at least 30 fruits on it. This is definitely the heavenly Li fruit tree. Shadowless' eyes were bursting with stars. He wouldn't call Chiu Rang and small ginseng over. He swept away 10 heavenly fruit into his mouth. But Shadowless forgot that this wasn't the heaven pan dragon fruit but the heavenly fruit. The powerful dragon Kai and heaven Tao Kai swept over like the ocean, rushing into Shadowless' meridians, instantly bloating Shadowless to a big ball. Shadowless was worried. If this continued, wouldn't he explode? Waves of dragon Kai were devoured by Shadowless like crazy. Shadowless converted these dragon Kai into his own Tao wave Kai rumble. The powerful Kai broke one of the barrier and Shadowless completely fell into sleep. Meanwhile, Shadowless' Kai kept rising and rising. If someone came to the heaven pan dragon fruit garden now, he would be easily able to catch 3 guys sleeping. 3 decades passed quickly. All of them were immersed in learning of Tao. Kai Wanqing reached nascent soul in the golden page world. She didn't cultivate in the time formation disk or she would have been far beyond nascent soul. After Mu Xiaoyun helped Kai Wanqing reach nascent soul, she settled her mind and learned Tao under the yellow middle plum. Small ginseng and Chiu Rang almost woke up at the same time. Chiu Rang reached immortal spirit herb peak stage and just needed to prepare for the immortal friend's divine damnation. Small ginseng's cultivation level also increased a huge level. They immediately thought of Shadowless when they woke up. Big brother Ice Ginseng, how long have we been RA? Chiu Rang immediately asked. Small ginseng calculated and said worriedly more than 30 years. We need to hurry and find Shadowless and leave. If the dragon race comes in to pick the heaven pan dragon fruit, we're over. Chiu Rang shook his head. It shouldn't be this coincidental. The dragon race would only come in ever 100 years. It's only been 30 years. Idiot, who knows when the last time they came in was? What if 70 years had already passed? Small ginseng cursed. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. Chapter 2205 Tao Essence Peak. Chapter 2205 Tao Essence Peak. Font big middle small previous index. Next add bookmarks. As soon as the two walked a few steps, they saw Shadowless laugh and walk over. Shadowless, do you want to die? We're stealing things here and you dare to laugh. Small ginseng reproached. Shadowless waved his hand. I've long seen you too. Why so careful? I've already scanned with spirit sense. There's no one inside. Hee hee. You too can follow Big Brother Shadowless. I'm a god Dao now, a very powerful one. You jealous? Shadowless was very happy. He reached god Dao middle stage. The heavenly fruit was overpowered indeed. Stop calling. Boss can turn you into dust with one palm. Small ginseng said in contempt. I'm not comparing with Big Boss. Other than Boss, you find someone to compete with me. Let's see who will turn who into dust. Shadowless said. Small ginseng ignored Shadowless and took out a jade box. Hurry up and collect some heaven pan-dragon fruits and leave. What's the rush? Let me eat some more. Although it's tasteless, but it's better than nothing. Shadowless said this but was more happy. Only he ate the heavenly fruit. These two idiots definitely didn't know where it was. He must not tell these two. When he saw Boss and only he took out the heavenly fruit, Boss would praise him. Do you know long we've been in here for? It's been 30 years, Small ginseng said. Chiu Rang suddenly said inside, there's. Shadowless interrupted Chiu Rang and said hurry up and go, I sense someone coming. The two were weaker than Shadowless. Hearing this, they didn't dare to hesitate at all and quickly left with Shadowless. But when they came to the place they entered, there was no door. What do we do? Chiu Rang forgot about the heavenly fruit and asked desperately. Don't move, I'm certain that we came in from here. The only thing we can do is wait for Boss here. Small ginseng said. Chiu Rang said shakily, but Big Brother Shadowless already said someone was coming. At the same time, Yimo opened his eyes. The dragon Kai circulating him instantly dispersed. Yimo was overjoyed. In these 30 years, he brought his power to Dao Essence Peak, just one step from completion. Luckily he had some God crystals and God spirit range. Otherwise, even if he got the Dragon Kai Dao waves, he wouldn't be able to reach Dao Essence Peak stage in 30 years. The three-birth chant devoured them too savagely. The later on it was, the more resources he needed. Now, he only reached Dao Essence Peak stage and he used up almost all his resources. He didn't even have 100 million God crystals on him. If this continued, who knew when he would reach primordial essence? However, reaching Dao Essence Peak stage reminded him. He needed to keep collecting God Spirit range and God crystals. Otherwise, even if he had the fortune, he wouldn't be able to reach primordial essence. Feeling the power that was much stronger than Dao Essence tertiary stage and his sea of consciousness forming a void at any time, Yimo knew that his spirit will 9 transformations went up a transformation again. If he fought with that fried egg again, he wouldn't be any weaker than that guy. Perhaps that fried egg was no longer a match for him. Thinking about how he could fight with primordial essence Divine Emperor head-on, Yimo felt proud of himself. He had heard of first step Divine Emperor defeating and even killing second step Divine Emperor, but never heard of a second step Divine Emperor being able to take on third step primordial essence Divine Emperor. If there was such person, the stories would be in the Void Marketplace, but he hadn't heard about it. Now, perhaps he was the only Dao Essence Divine Emperor who didn't fear a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. Yimo was right. In the Endless Void, there has never been an example where a Dao Essence Divine Emperor could take on a Primordial Essence Divine Emperor. This was because the difference between Dao Essence and Primordial Essence was just too huge. When Yimo came down from the rock, he remembered there was 3 guys who went to the Heaven Pan-Dragon Fruits Garden. He had cultivated here for 3 decades, he wondered how those guys were. Yimo immediately went back to the restriction and found the 3 hadn't come back. Yimo went into that rippled door without hesitation. Boss is here. Chiu Rang was the first to see Yimo come in. They have been waiting at where they came in without blinking. Seeing the 3 were fine, Yimo breathed easy. Then, he saw all the red Heaven Pan-Dragon fruits. Boss, let me tell you. There's not only a lot of Heaven Pan-Dragon fruits but also, before Shadowless finished, he and Small Ginseng were all sent into the Golden Page world. Yimo was planning to ask about the situation and pick some Heaven Pan-Dragon fruits as well as dig away a few trees. But before he spoke, his spirit sense felt something. He immediately knew someone came to the garden. He didn't dare to keep staying here. No matter how powerful he was, he shouldn't fight the dragon race. The three had been sweeping the garden for so long. If the dragon race noticed, it wouldn't be good. So Yimo sent the three into the Golden Page world and tore open the space here, returning back to the barrier restriction on the dragon bone. Yimo took away his formation and went up the whirlpool. When he came down, he was covered in injuries due to the grinding of the dragon kai, but now that he went up, only his clothes were torn. Those dragon kai were completely ineffective to him. In just 1 hour, Yimo flew out of the whirlpool and came back into the cosmos. He didn't stop there. He used a transmission and released a top-grade flying god artifact before leaving here. After entering the void again, Yimo changed a set of clothes and breathed easy. He flew further and further away. Another day later, Yimo slowed the flying ship down and called out Shadowless and them. "How was it? Why do you seem so unhappy?" Yimo saw that Shadowless was very happy, but Small Ginseng and Chiu Rang wasn't. Shadowless took out a pile of jade box and said, "Boss, I got 300 Heaven Pan Dragon fruits and 10 Heavenly fruit." Yimo immediately felt powerful kai from the jade boxes, especially those 10 heavenly fruits. Small Ginseng and Chiu Rang only took out 10 jade boxes. Chiu Rang saw Yimo's shocked look and said, "We were going to pick more fruits, but Shadowless tricked us saying there was people here. We quickly ran to the exit and saw Boss come in and take us away. We didn't have time to pick Heaven Pan Dragon fruits, and so we only have these." Shadowless immediately argued back, "I said there was people here and you believed me. It means you're not as smart as me. When Boss needs things done, just leave it to me." Small Ginseng and Chiu Rang, "You're too dumb. It's safer for you to stay in the Golden Page world." Yimo immediately asked, "You guys have been in there for 30 years. How could you not have time to pick fruits?" Small Ginseng sunk his head. "Chiu Rang and I ate too much and we fell asleep. Our cultivation level grew, but we didn't get many fruits." Shadowless, you're already God Dao?" Yimo just realized Shadowless' powerful devouring kai and asked happily. Shadowless laughed, "Yes, boss. I've already said. My talent is absurd. As long as I have things to eat, how can I not evolve?" Yimo couldn't be bothered talking to Shadowless and said to Small Ginseng, "Small Ginseng, move all these fruits to the Golden Page world. Leave some Heaven Pan Dragon fruits. Use most of it to make wine. Don't touch the Heavenly fruit yet. Put restrictions on them and place it next to the bitter bamboo." "Okay." Small Ginseng glanced at Shadowless happily, thinking, "You got so many fruits, but I have to end up dealing with them." After Small Ginseng went in, Yimo looked at Shadowless and asked, "That Heavenly fruit is extremely precious. You didn't pick it all, right? There's only 3 fruits ripening every 10,000 years. One could imagine how precious this fruit was. If Shadowless picked them all, there was no way the dragon race wouldn't go crazy." Shadowless said loudly, "Boss, don't worry. How can I not know that? Not only did I leave some, I left behind 10. I only took 20, 10 of which I ate." Yimo touched his head speechlessly. There was only 30 fruits and Shadowless took 20. Although there were 30 fruits, perhaps only one in a few 100 million dragon race member would get a fruit. If he went, he would at most take 10. Just as they were speaking, a dashing light crossed the void and came before them in just half a minute. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Tip: you can use left, right, A and D keyboard keys to browse between chapters. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.